Out of Randwick, Hasna, Classy Dane, Ambulance and Danbird, 7812 for the Stan Fox Stakes. Here's the market. Ambulance and Hasna are the top two in commission. Hasna's into the red and Classy Dane number 8 at 7.
Smile, because he's riding Ambulance in the Stan Fox Stakes today. The horse will be very competitive.
Yes, he was a bit stirred up in the mounting yard. He didn't like the wind past his ear.
Just about ready, and in fact they're racing, and immediately Ambulance drops out the back, and over on the inside Danbird, one of the early leaders, quite a few keen to lead. Olympus is another, and going up very, very swiftly is Skittles, followed by who's on the outside, about 3 wide maybe at this stage, and then comes Ambulance and Bushland, and 2 lengths to Classy Dane, working their way past the 700, and Olympus steadied in the lead, a length and a half clear. Skittles running second, Danbird third, Hasna a handy fourth, although she's 3 deep at this stage, and then flying formality Bushland, Ambulance, and Classy Dane another length away. In the Stan Fox, they're galloping to the corner, and Olympus quickening up, leads about 3/4 of a length on Skittles. Hasna's been wide from the word go, she's joining in, followed by Bushland. Classy Dane is coming down the outside, but Hasna, little Lenny Beasley goes for home on Hasna. She's a half Skittles, a length Classy Dane, and Ambulance is warming to the task, and here is Ambulance motoring down the outside. He grabbed Classy Dane, put paid to Hasna, and Ambulance, oh, isn't he something special? Ambulance raced away to win the Stan Fox from Classy Dane. Hasna was third, fourth in Skittles, then flying formality Bushland, Olympus and Absolute Danbird. Number 1, too good. I think he might well be something really, really special in a race like the Stan Fox, where they didn't go hard. The Houseland Beasley, the pick for number 4, Skittles. A long neck, 3/4.
Very well, James, because I saw the line very good, and as the race has become longer, I'm sure he will become better.
How bold are your plans with him, particularly in Melbourne?
He's running in the Caulfield Guineas, and then we'll just take stock where we head from there. He's in the Cox Plate, the Derby, and so, you know, I haven't really earmarked anything past the Caulfield Guineas. I just want to get to that race.
Performs exceptionally in that race. They would have no hesitation, Ron, in starting him in the Cox Plate.
Well, John Hawkes is known for running a 3-year-old in the Cox Plate, and let's face it, it's the best weight for age race in Australia, and it'll be a nice little backup to Lonhro, I can tell you. Look at him hit the line here. Look, he really had the siren going yesterday down the outside, and that's only his second up run, and as the races get longer, he's going to be lethal. The second filly, I thought she did an amazing job. She's right in this Flight Stakes, there's no doubt about that. She's really improved this preparation, Classy Dane. Has not got caught wide, but she did have cover in the middle stages. A touch disappointing. There was a worry about her that race she rode in last week.
That's harsh. She ran really well. Filly against colts like that.
No, look, I'm not saying she didn't run well, but...
And she sat 3 deep the entire journey and had to go to the front pretty early in the straight.
But could it be argued that that tough run last week?
But are you saying she's unlucky, that she was unlucky? Did you say that she should have won?
No,
no,
but I think it was. I think it was a very good run. I don't think she was disappointed.
It was a good run.
Anyway, I think he's a rising superstar. The horse, Ambulance. I don't know if he'll run it.
Oh yeah.
I think he's a bit brilliant to run a trip. I'll be yet to be convinced that he'll run further than, say, 2,000 metres. I think he'll run 2,000 metres, but 2,400, I don't know. But tell you what, I'd love to have him in the stable. He's the best 3-year-old I've seen so far this year.
Well, let's talk about the...
San Miguel, Group 1 George Main Stakes at Randwick. It's coming up, and the ratings have them this way. They've gone with Lonhro and Grand Army equally, 1 and 3, then Defire, then Archivay, 1, 3, 2 and 5 in the George Main. And at this point in time, there are 3 chances to looks. Lonhro. They're about to move in for the George Main. Here's Ian.
Gates are back and they're off, and they jumped in a perfect manner. At the end of 150, Archave leads narrowly from Dress Circle. Third Platinum Scissors, Lonhro next. Followed wider out on the track by Grand Army. 2.5 Defire, a half length, a half Hennessy. Archave, the count, the 700, still no variation. Archave, 3/4 Dress Circle, getting a little closer. A length and 3/4 to Grand Army, likewise moving forward, followed by Platinum Scissors. 1.5 then to Lonhro, followed by by Defire, and Half Hennessy brings up the rear. They're on the corner in the George Main, and Archave first to straighten up a half-dress circle, a length the Grand Army, and here's Beedman making his run on Lonhro. Platinum Scissors, Defire and Half Hennessy. Here is Lonhro sprinting very quickly after Grand Army, but Lonhro, all systems are go now, and Sydney's Thoroughbred Idol raced clear from Grand Army, and then Defire, but it's Lonhro's George Main Stakes. Second Grand Army, and third was Defire. Fourth Platinum Scissors from Archave, Dress Circle, and Absolute Half Hennessy. Gee, the horse. He's a wonderful horse, isn't he?
Dream horse. I just feel very emotional. Right at this minute, I'm thinking of Jack, and he just how much he'd love to be here with us, because he really loved that horse. But boy, what a horse! He's just a horse. I hope now they say he is a champion.
Wonder who's going to beat him in the Cox Plate. Those overseas horses would have to be very good if they're going to worry him in the Cox Plate this year. Lonhro the beat. So that's 21 wins now from 28 starts and a couple of minor placings. But yes, of those 21 wins, 7 have been at Group 1 level, and 20 of them have been either black type or group races. As for his prize, black type or group races. As for his prize money, it was 3.6 million prior to today. The race first prize money was 227, so he's nudging $4 million.
He'd be the one to take me into the race, follow the right horse, and I didn't want to ride him too cheeky and think, oh, I've got him covered, you know, and give him sort of 3-length start. Sort of kept, you know, length and a half, 2 lengths off him, and I was quite surprised how he went past him, like, because he's a pretty handy horse, Grand Army, and he just blew him away. He said, see you later.
Yeah, well, he's been getting fitter, and today's perhaps the fittest he's been, you know, this preparation. And as I said, there's maybe a little bit left in him between now and the Cox Plate, so we can, you know, just fine-tune him a little bit more. You know, hopefully, you know, he might have a bit more luck on the Cox Plate this year.
And I bet the race couldn't come soon enough. Lonhro, an ever-firming favourite for the Cox Plate, and on that explosive performance yesterday, Ron, he still remains clearly the horse to beat. What can we say, though, about Defire yesterday? His run was outstanding in the circumstances. They ran home in 33.5, and there was no way from where he was that he could run them down.
Look, all in all, Defire's effort was excellent. Look, he got a mile back. I thought Damien might have missed the boat in this race. The tempo, he didn't work out the tempo of this race at all. But as far as a Cox Plate point of view goes, I thought Defire's run was excellent. Grand Army just got to learn to come back underneath a little bit better. He's just over-racing a little, but he'll be hard to beat in the Epsom next week. Platinum Scissors, well, his 3 runs back have all been outstanding. He's looking like a real stayer to me. You know, Gay's got the Melbourne Cup in mind for Platinum Scissors, and certainly I'm not knocking that plan. Half Hennessy, well, he's just lost all admirers for the Caulfield Cup. Last week he was
Age horse in the land, and I thought his run was terrific. Winner's just awesome, mate. I let down terrific, and he just let down with 5 more gears. So he's a true champion. He's a great horse, mate.
You know, when they're running home 33.5, it's pretty hard to make ground on him, but he finished off really strongly for me.
Especially against horses like that?
Yeah, absolutely. But no, we'll get down to Melbourne, and it might be a different story. We'll have a few other horses in the race, and he might encounter a bit more traffic, so I'm sure he won't have it all his own way in Melbourne.
But it didn't happen. Archave just led as he pleased, and when the hammer went down, well, Lonhro, there's no one can beat him at that game.
No.
That is his game.
He's a
super
champion
horse.
at it.
Yep.
Look, getting back to that crowd, he's a
Super
champion
horse.
at it.
Yep.
Look, getting back to that crowd, you know, like, I've never heard, you know, pound for pound, there was only 15,000 people yesterday, but that roar, Joe, look, the biggest roar I heard was when Fairy King Prawn loomed up to Sunline in Hong Kong, but pound for pound, that was bigger, you know, with 15,000 people. That was just incredible moment.
Venture, Oscar Warrior and Zabara, 5, 1, 3 and 2. I don't think he's a fan of the NRL, Alfie. The Bill Ritchie handicaps at Randwick. Fiery Venture, $4.40 from the Gay Waterhouse. And here's Forum Floozy, well fancied, number 9, 320. Who did it? Fiery Venture's been very well supported on the TAB. Let's return to Ian for the Ritchie handicap.
The Bill Ritchie, and it's 1,400 metres, 12 months ago. Zabari immediately dropped out the back, and Inspire, one of the smartest out, going up very quickly. Oscar Warrior, Brits Best, nice and handy, and over on the inside is 700 out on the Ritchie, and Oscar Warrior leads the way about 3/4 to a length on Inspire. Third posse is Who Did It over on the inside of Brits Best, being followed by Zabara. Fiery Venture midfield and entrenched, and then Red Hannigan, Forum, Floozy, Stowaway, and still Stone Motherless last as the rank outsider. Halls of Assembly around the corner and up the rise they come. Oscar Warrior, a length and a half. Inspire, Brits Best, Who Did It over on the inside, tending to labour a shade. Fiery Venture's gone up outside of it. Zabara's joining in, and so too the ghostly grey Stowaway from Red Hannigan. Here's Stowaway and Zabara with Brits Best. They drop the inside horses. Zabara broke clear, however, and Zabara's racing away. Zabara beat Brits Best and the Flying Forum Floozy, and then Stowaway, Fiery Venture with Red Hannigan, followed by Oscar Warrior, Halls of Assembly. Inspire second last, and Who Did It finished Stone Motherless last. 1:22.56 outside Bella Snap's race record, 1:21.60. He's had 21 starts for 7 wins, a very, very good horse. And he's made it back-to-back wins in the Bill Ritchie, taking it out, beating this man Should last year. A short neck, 1:22.56, sectionally 34.70.
Well, dilemma there.
It certainly will be, you know, like he's come up beautifully, Zabara. He's had a few, he won this race last year, in fact, and he's 3 runs back have been outstanding. I think he's a more mature horse. He's by Zabeel, and he's got better with racing this time in, and he's not out of the Epsom, there's no doubt about it.
He's running Newcastle.
Race from New Zealand, the Group 1 Kelt Capital Stakes is coming up in 16 minutes' time. Here's a market. There are 3 equal top raters, and they're all double figures. El Deuce, Irish Rover, Miss Potential, and then Tit for Tat, 5, 8, 14 and 10. And just pointing out that Cyclades, number 3, is a late scratching from the Kelt Capital. Cyclades is not running today. Distinctly Secret, number 4, is going well this time in, has come up at 370 second pick.
He just couldn't quite finish it off.
Was Carpion and Raspberry Ripple, Tit for Tat and Miss Potential both came away quickly. St. Reams from the outside is whipping straight up onto the speed, and Hales just behind these runners, and then Irish Rover sent home tracks forward. Hello Dolly the next to length, Ben Sparta as they come down to us a circuit, and then Ben Sparta 1.5. Hello Dolly, Hale over on the inside midfield. Distinctly Secret's looking to go forward now, and then El Duce. 600 metres to go in the Kelt. Carpion, Raspberry Ripple, and 3 lengths to Tuscany Warrior as they come to the home corner, and St. Reams in the centre has got to the lead now from Miss Potential. Ernest William on the outside is out and after these, and then Ben Sparta. St. Reams to Miss Potential. Ernest Williams coming out and after these. Here's Distinctly Secret. He's really starting to sprint, and Hale is trying to follow him through. Distinctly Secret race to the lead in the Kelt. He's 2 lengths clear. Hale runs on. Ben Sparta the inside, and Irish Rover the last little bit, but Distinctly Secret second last year. Brilliant in 2003. Way too good. Hale second, third Irish Rover, and then behind these when they've hit the line, Ben Sparta. Hello Dolly, Raspberry Ripple, St. Reams, Carpion, Ernest William, Tit for Tat, El Duce, sent home Tuscany Warrior. Oh, and Miss Potential, she's last. Hope she's okay.
First 3 across the line are all very good horses. Don't be surprised to see them in Australia during the spring. Distinctly Secret, ridden by Opie Bosson. Hale.
Stepping up to the 1400's definitely going to help him.
Just how good...
The Group 1 Kelt Capital Stakes yesterday run in New Zealand, and Distinctly Secret on the strength of its win yesterday, and it's about to come up and storm home down the
Horse racing. Horse racing and Godolphin champion Marmul has taken a stranglehold on Melbourne Cup favouritism following his 2nd consecutive Group 1 victory in Germany overnight. The world's most powerful stable confirming the 4-year-old will enter quarantine this weekend. The stallion due to arrive in Melbourne on October 21. Marmul has been heavily backed over the past week and represents Godolphin's best chance to win Australia's most famous race. Marmul is now the $7 favourite for the Melbourne Cup, ahead of local hope Pentastic at $11.
They're about to have them called in for the Concept Sports 1400 metres. Good betting race, Manakama holding favouritism, Del Zeo well in the market, and Canny Opera easing as the 3rd elect track upgraded to good. And they're racing Beautiful start. Mr. O'Hara jumping well, but immediately headed by Tchaikovsky. Delzeo straight out the back. He's 2 lengths last. Child of Tchaikovsky tucked in fourth the inside, and then Kenny Opera. There followed Mr. O'Hara. Around the outside comes Delzeo and Rasan in the centre. Peresin led. He's been left alone, and he kicked out by 2 lengths in the early part of the straight. Into second comes Menakama. Delzeo running on the outside. Tchaikovsky and Mr. O'Hara making ground the inside. Kenny Opera struggling at this point. Peresin came back quickly. Delzeo swept up and went to the lead on the outside. On the inside is Mr. O'Hara, and then Menakama. Kenny Opera's coming down the outside. Delzeo, Mr. O'Hara. Delzeo's going home the best, and Delzeo wins it by almost a length. Photo for the minors. Tchaikovsky's prominent with Mr. O'Hara. Kenny Opera out wide. Leave it to the judge, son. That has been a very good win, Delzeo. He just keeps on winning. 4 straight now. His faces win, win, win. And he's done that again today. 4, 8 and 5 on race number again today. 4, 8 and 5 on race number 3.
In the Edward Manifold, hinting the top rater ahead of 2, 4, and then down to 8 Slice of Paradise. The total market, and it shows hinting the top rater at very good odds at the moment, particularly on New South Wales and Unitap. A shit at the bottom at $14. The Edward Manifold, a Group 2 race as we get this one coming up.
Thanks, Andrew.
It's been easy on track. It is well unders the tote compared to what they are betting. Hinting there's been a little bit of support in this, the first leg of the
1500. Royal Mask jumping out fast on the inside. Ashanti away brilliantly, looking for the lead early, and Pretty Penny's up there. Special Harmony, Slice of Paradise just off them. Special Harmony might have got tightened up there. She lost a couple of lengths quickly, and it's Ashanti being tackled by Bahamian Star, who finds the Bahamian Star led Ashanti at the 850 out by a length and a half. Third placing to Syrinx, and they're trailed by Annie Levy over on the inside. Back behind her, Pretty Penny, about a length and a half further back, Special Harmony. Their trail, Royal Mask, and then one to Slice of Paradise, Diamond Haley, Rinky Dink, followed by Tully Bellotto. Well back as Hinting on the inside as they corner, followed by Danish Peak. Song of the Sun's been wide the entire, and Charm View and Infinity the last couple. Into the straight, Bahamian Star leading from Ashanti. Annie Levy right behind the leader. Syrinx and the All Cerise is running on. Special Harmony wide out. Slice of Paradise is coming up the middle, followed by Song of the Sun at the 300 metres now. And Ashanti moved up to tackle Bahamian Star, but Special Harmony claims the pair of them, and she hit the front now. Special Harmony, Ashanti goes with her in the last 100. Special Harmony the outside, drew the head in front, and Special Harmony by a long neck to Ashanti. Bahamian Star third. Royal Mask ran on with Tully Bellotto, then Hinting, Syrinx and Charm View, followed by Danish Peak, Pretty Penny. The back, Rinky Dink, Infinity, Song of the Sun is well back, and so too Slice of Paradise and Diamond Haley. Special Harmony for Luke Curry and Lee Friedman, so it's 3 for Lee, and he's now won Chaka. 4, 2 and 10, fourth number 13. Ran on with Tully Bellotto, then...
Yeah, pick-up ride for Luke Curry there, and he rode it very, very well too. He managed to keep his stablemate 3 deep the entire journey there, but well done to him. And tell you what, this filly can stay a bit. She's by a Spinning World, and she's out of a staying family, and just looked like a filly that might go on to the longer trips this spring. Ashanti, Ritchie, it's a tough filly. It's a real good filly. Alf, don't you like the run of her every time she goes around?
Yes, I commend Robert Smurden from Aquanita. Done a fantastic job given the fact that this started off at Benalla. It's been to Sydney, performed admirably, has come back and continues to race on well. Take nothing away from Special Harmony. Luke Curry, look, we've said in the past as well, looks a very, very, very good jockey, this guy. Nice and patient. He was very patient on that. Your stablemate didn't matter whether it was 10 deep, it can't run the trip anyway. And outside of that, I thought, Tully Bellotto. Look, there was a few runs in that weren't too bad. I don't think they can turn the tables on Special Harmony, though.
The horse in question, the stablemate we're talking about there is Slice of Paradise. Yeah, yeah, she finished well back, but
Widle, yeah.
There are a couple of other hard luck stories in that race too. Same jockeys involved.
Let's move on now.
It's 11 on top, Sunday Joy, ahead of 1, 4 and 7. Reminding you we have a value bet in the upcoming race in Adelaide. Tote odds you can see for the Turnbull, 13 minutes out. Mummify, $4, and Maccabi Diva at $4.70. And the second page for the Turnbull with that pool, very high even at this early stage, really a betting. Sunday Joy for Brett Preble, $5.90. Turnbull Stakes through the years. Northerly 12 months ago, Sunline 2001. Fairway caused the upset in 2000. We go back to 1991. Let's Elope 92, Naturalism, and Better Loosen Up in 1990. A horse called Vo Rogue back in 1988. Some classic winners of the Turnbull. I wonder who it's about to be. At it, specking for Pentastic as we speak. Good Overs the Tote, number 1 at that $7.10. Mummify drifting out, unders the Tote.
Sharpener began awkwardly. Thurman out the back with Honor Babe. Mummify first out from Walk On Air, and Sunday Joy drives on trying to find the lead. Eagle Rhythm is up there and Turmeric is just off them. Studebaker caught about 6 wide is pressing forward from midfield as they settle into stride by the 1700 metres. And back behind those at the 900, the big fellow Studebaker's gone to the lead. He's a length in front here from Devon second. Walk On Air took the trail third, and they were followed as they came up the side by Sunday Joy on the outside 4, and then Eagle Rhythm. Back behind them Strasbourg is trapped out and Mummify tucked in the rail. They're trailed by Turmeric, and then came Sharpener Grey Song, who's on the rails as they come around the home turn, and then Pentastic and Maccabi Diva. Thurman has pulled out wide to try and make some ground as they enter the straight now, and the Grey Eagle Rhythm moved up to Devon and Studebaker. Strasbourg and the pink is running on, and they're followed Sunday Joy, another warrior through on the inside. Wider out then came Zagalia. Pentastic is in the clear. Maccabi Diva's out wide, stoking up. Studebaker kicked away near the 200 though. Here comes Strasbourg with his run on the outside now, and then Pentastic, Zagalia and Maccabi Diva. Studebaker, Strasbourg pegging him back on the outside. Studebaker keeps giving. Studebaker wins it. Studebaker first. Give it to Pentastic second to nose. Strasbourg, and close up on the outside is Zagalia and Maccabi Diva. Devon in behind them, closely followed by Sunday Joy, Honor Babe, Sharpener, and then Turmeric Mummify. They were followed further back in the field by Thurman, Walk On Air, Eagle Rhythm, Grey Song, and another warrior last in.
Now, I mean, there's some good races coming up. Has your father spoken about anything?
No, I just wanted to see how he ran today, and it was going to be a good measuring stick, so I'm sure he's sitting over Warwick Farm with a smile on his face.
Well, he kept finding, that was the crucial thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did. He did a really good job, and as I said, Stephen rode him so well too.
You've had a couple of wins.
Tell you what, there was plenty of hard luck stories in that race as well. The winner, Studebaker, well, he just went to the front. It was a walk, trot and gallop race. He's not second accepted for the Caulfield Cup, so he won't be there. Plenty of the horses behind him were accepted for the Caulfield Cup, and there were some great runs there. Pentastic, Strasbourg, Maccabi Diva, all ran well.
Honor Babe.
Honor Babe ran on very, very well at the end. I thought Sunday Joy had its chance, Alfie, and was a little disappointing, and a couple of hard luck ones behind her.
Well, just to qualify Sunday Joy, I would have thought Brett wouldn't have let Eagle Rhythm go round him just before straightening, because it showed at Moonee Valley that it wasn't a pick-up and sprint horse. It should have been mobile at the top of the straight. I think it would have finished closer. But look, Mummify, OK, what was his instructions? I tell you what, if I'd have ridden it, I'd have probably led on it, nevertheless, because at least it would have had a gallop, and it probably would have won too. But look, Grey Song, I thought Stephen was a genuine, I suppose, a victim of circumstances, because the simple fact that we know that he's got no speed, he drew barrier 2, he got tightened up a little just after the start, and he couldn't do anything about it. So I wouldn't say Stephen's done anything wrong there. The horse is going OK. Look, Tommy, but as you said, look, a heap of horses that were unlucky. Strasbourg was a nice run. I think if Bart had the opportunity to run the race again after draw flying.
Yeah, you make a good point there. Strasbourg, it was probably the run of the day. I thought geez, it covered some ground. It was a pretty average ride by young Patrick Payne. I reckon Danny Nikolic, hang on. Danny Nikolic and Stephen King, they should give the money back for those rides. They dead set took no part from the set. They just said, oh, well, I'm in a pocket, I'm not even going to worry about it. I bet they show a little bit more courage in a Caulfield Cup than they did yesterday. It was a joke. But the run of the day was dead set on a Babe. Yeah. It was an amazing run. They kept shouldering her in. She didn't get out. She got out with 100 metres to go and flew to the line. It was a very, very good race.
Particularly disappointing for...
Very good. But, you know, the thing that annoyed me about that race was I've said time and time again, if they're going slow, you can cover ground. For God's sake, boys, make a decision in future.
Okay.
There you go. Well,
Bold statement
I think he's
there.
right on target.
Made every post a winner, but was run down just in the shadows of the line. As we speak, Joe McKinnon, we might come down to you.
Yes, what about this? There's plenty of positives, dropping back to mare's class and all that sort of thing. Any negatives today?
Don't think so, Andrew. Just that the world's tipping her, which is usually not a good thing.
JK, the mares, Group 3. All clear. Racing now. Not a bad start either. Reactive, pinging away very fast, trying to overcome that barrier in a short time and sped across the field to lead. Galapagos Girl pushes up on the rail. Lady Sophia sprints up the outside to go to the lead. Tarcoola Diamond settles up fourth and one. Vocabulary fifth now. She sped to the lead at the 800. They've run it hard. Lady Sophia 2.5 away second. Look, the saddle might have moved on her, I'd say, Lady Sophia. Woodween to third and the yellow around Tarcoola Diamond, Classic Patches and then Vocabulary. Reactive next on the outside of Galapagos Girl, and then came Kayana as they corner and Sunday out of the widest. Silvana in behind them, followed by the grey Faith Hill. Gazania's tracking her and Written by a Queen getting up on the inside at the 400-metre mark, and Bellavici by 2. Galapagos Girl, Woodweener on the outside, and then Tarcoola Diamond. Vocabulary's popped the question, starting to work home fairly well. Galapagos Girl took the lead now at the 200. Reactive is after her, and Vocabulary starting to wind up from Tarcoola Diamond. Galapagos Girl in front. Vocabulary's getting there stride by stride. Vocabulary grabs the lead. Vocabulary wins it. Great minor photo. Gazania, Faith Hill and Galapagos Girl, the three of them. Clear to Reactive, La Rosa, Tarcoola Diamond, Silvana, then Bellavici, Written by a Queen, Classic Patches, Woodweener, Sundiata, followed by Bella Moxie, Kayana. 5 o'clock.
Okay, Greg, just awaiting fourth for the Uni to have a New South Wales first. 4 and 2 numbers coming up.
I think the Tristarc will suit it in a Caulfield Cup day. That's 1400.
Very, very good win, considering with about 150 metres to go, she was in behind a wall of horses and had to be pulled sideways to get a run there. And you'll see her there in the dark blue halves there, just nearly pulled off balance to get out and having a bumping duel with the one outside of it. When she flattens out and gets clear, she's the superior mare in the race, Al.
Yeah, she certainly is. And look, she's got good weight for age form too. And she was thrown into the race with 54 kilos. Look, Danny, had he have been beaten, I think he would have been a victim of circumstances, because he placed the horse in the race, I thought, very well indeed. I thought Galapagos Girl was very good.
Top raider is Ashtaroth, number 13 for David Hall, ahead of the visiting Reinhardt, Sybil and Dorky, number 14. And the tote figures with 15 minutes of betting until the Group 3 Gilgai. Bomber Bill, the 8-year-old, goes around at currently $8. Scenic Peak down from Queensland has very good fresh form with a couple of placings. And then we get the likes of Reinhardt, good tote. Big Tell remains tote favourite. Dorky's got really close to it.
And Dorky began reasonably. Unguarded Moment began fast, and they're splitting here. Ashtaroth is switching to the outside and leaving about 4 horses coming down towards the Bomber Bill, Mr. Magoo and Crystal Finale. That's a quartet on the flank, being followed by Civil in the all yellow on the outside rail, and then King's Arch and Scenic Peak and Red Labella's last of the grandstand division over on the inside. And Sir Chuckle had the lead from Bomber Bill, who's edging out to the middle of the track with Mr. Magoo to launch their runs, and they're trailed by Crystal Finale on the grandstand. They've got 250 to go here. They're stretched across the track. Dorky being grabbed by Unguarded Moment to brief, and as they come along to the 200-metre mark now, and Bomber Bill hits the front in the middle of the track with Mr. Magoo. Red Labelle launching, but Bomber Bill the leader from Mr. Magoo. Bomber Bill, he's going to do it again. What a great sprinter. Bomber Bill beats Mr. Magoo. Red Labelle third, and then Scenic Peak and Civil, followed by Dorky, and back behind these to finish in the race, the Big Chill. Debrief, Sir Chuckle, Crystal Finale, Reinhardt, King's Arch, Unguarded Moment, and Ashtaroth, one of the last in. He's just a freak, isn't he? Number 1, Bomber Bill, $10.70 and $3. He's won again. His 19th overall victory from 60 starts. He won this race with 59 kilos starting favourite 3 years ago. Here he is, back as an 8-year-old, doing it again. Inexperienced racehorse. Well, the Big Chill never came into it today.
Age shall not weary him. He's 8 years old. Doesn't say a lot for the up-and-coming sprinters that they can't knock off an old 8-year-old who goes down the inside of the track and then shifts out to the centre of the track and still too strong for them all. He's an old freak. I just think he's a brilliant old horse. I'd love to have owned him because you could see him going around again in this race. I think he won it 2 years ago.
Why yes, you me like that when you say old freak?
I was thinking about Alf though.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Actually, you're right, Richard. He did win it a few years ago. As a 4-year-old, I think it was, yeah, going back a few years now. He's now 8 years old. I thought Mr Magoo's run was good, but I suppose...
Six and Stones, and then Piccadilly, the Queensland Group 1 winner. 8 from 5 and 7, then number 1. On course, it's Legally Bay, just holding betting favouritism ahead of Freeze. Third pick is Sticks, as it is at Cheltenham. At Randwick, this is the third race on the card.
And they jumped in a beautiful fashion. Sticks and Stones on the inside is going to lead early, followed by its stablemate Piccadilly wider out, and deeper still is work their way down past the 750, and Sticks and Stones the leader. A length on Piccadilly, Freeze third, Legally Bay fourth, Akrama's next, followed by Red Hot Pepper and Sedex. A length further off Bella Corona, then her stablemate Bella Careuse, and two to Yes Boss as they come to the home corner here. And it's the Queenslanders leading the way. Sticks and Stones from Piccadilly, a length in it. Freeze on the rails, Legally Bay about to be popped the question. A length and a half, Sir Dex, and then comes Bella Corona and Red Hot Pepper. They work their way to the 250, and Sticks and Stones with a kick. Freeze after it, followed by Legally Bay likewise, and then Bella Corona, and the others struggling. Here is Legally Bay putting her mind to the test now. She raced to Freeze and Sticks and Stones, and some big money has landed here. Legally Bay wins the Brian Crowley from Freeze. Third, Sticks and Stones, and fourth, Bella Corona, followed by Sedex, Yes Boss, Bella Careuse, then Piccadilly.
Joins us now, so we'll look at the runners for the Group 3 Craven Plate. Sky ratings, first of all, with Ariante and Shower of Roses, the stable mates, to beat home Hebe Rebe. 4 and 9 equal, ahead of 1 and then number 2. On course, it's Shower of Roses, who is the favourite, ahead of So Assertive, which is good value for Toad. Ariante's the third pick on course, Joe, with Shower of Roses the best tried, but stablemate So Assertive with its admirers. Same for Ariante, and at
4, and they're off and running this time, and So Assertive got the best of the start, commencing pretty well with Shower of Roses. Jet Skiwi and Ariante moving up quickly. A length and a half to Bulkhead. Hebe Rebe drifting back a treasure. The heavily back Shower of Roses to the lead for months, heading to the Shower of Roses, one of 4 Waterhouse runners, leads clearly, and onto the National Treasure brings up the rear. No change as they come along past the 600. The heavily back Shower of Roses, a length and 3/4. So Assertive, similar margin. Jet Skiwi Ariante is hugging the rails as they swing around the bend. Then Monmecki, followed by Bulkhead, Masquerado, Hebe Rebe, and 3 to National Treasure. Into the straight and up the rise. Shower of Roses taken on by So Assertive. In third position, a length away, Ariante, and then a break to Jet Skiwi, followed by Monmecki. Shower of Roses, a half length on So Assertive, 120 to travel. Shower of Roses pulling out plenty. She zipped away from So Assertive, then Monmecki, and it's all the way to Shower of Roses. Back to a best. Shower of Roses easily from So Assertive. Third, Monmecki, and fourth was Jet Skiwi, and then Bulkhead, Ariante, Hebe Rebe, followed by National Treasure, and Masquerado has run a shocker, tailed off last. Too good. Money speaks all languages and tells our second and third. She's run 2:02.78. Tie the knot.
Stayed flush on the fence, which was probably quite okay around about the 4th race. It really only cut up the last couple of races, but from a Caulfield Cup point of view, I think she'd have to take another half step for mine. What do you think, Richard?
Well, I'd like to own her.
Oh,
shouldn't she?
I'd like to own any horse that wins a race.
Yeah, but she's so valuable, and you know, look, she's done a very, very good job. And Gay's done a good job because after a first run, it looked disgraceful, but she's got her to win this race. She had him off the bit a long way out, and she does sort of bowl along that one bat, but it's a pretty good bat. Don't know that wins you a Caulfield Cup. Don't know that makes you any more than a pacemaker in a Caulfield Cup, but. Tell you what, well placed here yesterday and a good effort.
The run of the Queensland Oaks winner Monmecki yesterday was quite impressive. She's looking pretty dour.
Yes, she was, and she got
change of plan now.
Wasn't she got
change of plan now for Shower of Roses, the winner from yesterday at Randwick. The owner spokesman Andrew Baddock told me now that Gay Waterhouse is seriously looking towards running her in the Cox Plate and not the Caulfield Cup. Gay believes that she's a free-striding mare that will be suited by Moonee Valley, and the plan is to nominate for the Alumba and maybe run Saturday, but certainly the Cox Plate now is the #1 race on the agenda.
Spring Champion Stakes at Group
Group 1, mile and a quarter. The Sky ratings looking this way on top. Equal, Sui Mai and All Gonna Do It. 2 and 3. Ahead of Lonro's baby brother, Niello, and Handsome Ramson. 2 and 3 equal from 5 and then number 1. On course, it's clearly Sui Mai. Similar odds to the tote. Second pick is Niello. From there we go to All Gonna Do It. And then Terracotta Bay, which has been easy.
Their last run was pretty good. Highlights of the afternoon at Royal Randwick. And this is the Thrifty Spring Champion Stakes. Number 2, Tasumai, 261.40. A clear. And on the inside, November Dreaming jumped out reasonably well. Tasumai straight to the front from Handsome Ransom. Al Jamil moving up swiftly. Then November Dreaming, followed by Terracotta Bay. All Gonna Do It, a horse off the rails. Followed by Colombo, Niello next to last. And a Superior Satine. Well, Zach Burton, Meesmere, Triscay leads clearly. And down the side at the 800 almost now. Tasumai, 2 on Terracotta Bay. Handsome Ransom on the fence, and then Al Jamil. November Dreaming, followed by All Gonna Do It. Then Colombo, Niello, and 2.5 lengths Superior Satine. They work their way along past the 600 marker. And Tasumai, 2 lengths Terracotta Bay. A length to Handsome Ransom. Al Jamil is hard at it from All Gonna Do It, being called upon by Beedman. And then November Dreaming, followed by Niello, Colombo, and Superior Satine. Around the corner. And Tasumai shaken up, taken on by Terracotta Bay. Handsome Ransom, the fence on the outside. Here comes Niello. They run to the 250. Tasumai, a half length on Niello. November Dreaming, Terracotta Bay. Tasumai struggles. Niello and November Dreaming are going to battle it out. It's on the outside. Niello doing by far the better. And Niello wins the Spring Champion Stakes from November Dreaming. Third is Tasumai, followed home by Terracotta Bay. Over on the inside next, and the run came at that stage. Handsome Ransom, they're still coming, and there goes All Gonna Do It. Al Jamil, Superior Satine, and Colombo is another 300 metres off in last position. Niello has won the Spring Champion Stakes. Third to Sumai, led up, knocked up by Thundergirl's hand.
This horse has always showed potential. I've been riding probably a little bit too close. John Hawkes told me I had to ride him a lot further back today and give him a chance to get into the race himself, and yeah, it's paid off. Like I said, he's always had ability, this horse, and it's just taken a race like this for him to get up and show it.
Yes, he's lived in the shadow of his highly successful older brother, Lonro, who recorded such a stunning win last Saturday in the George Main Stakes at Randwick. Mike, the horse's run at Newcastle leading up to yesterday had been very good, and Corey Brown mentioned yesterday the criticism that he'd received for that particular ride, but he rode the horse a treat yesterday. Yeah, he just said there in the interview that he was told to ride him back a little bit more patiently, and thank God he did do that. I thought Zach Burton went far too hard on the leader, Tasumi. But I think the one thing to come out of that race is that the first and second horses are the only ones that can remotely stay. Those other horses are wasting their time trying to get ground. Only ones that have got any staying ability at all, but you know, the ones behind from the third horse back are pretty average.
But that was Group 1 too. I mean, what you're suggesting there,
average at 2,000 metres. What do you think, Rich, of Niello's lovely win there?
You're very smart, aren't you? Yeah. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? I sacked him before this, but I tell you what, I take my hat off to John Hawkes. He's got that horse to win a Group 1. All right, albeit it may be the worst Group 1 they run this year, right? And I think it will be, right? But he's got him to win a Group 1. Maybe the last one he ever wins. I have to sit here in... I have sacked the horse, all right, and I've been proved wrong, all right? You happy? Okay. But I tell you what, they plodded home in the race in 37 1/4. Yeah. The 2-year-olds ran 34 1/2. They were unraced and they ran home.
That's leader to you know.
I know, leader. It's winner to leader, right? But they were walking the last 600 metres. There are horses in that race that won't get past 1,600 metres. Some won't get past 1,400 metres. And I thought young Zach Burton...
And one does wonder about the future of the Group 1 Spring Champion Stakes.
It's never been a Group 1. It's never ever been. It's never been a Group 1 race.
The Champion Stakes, when it was back in the 70s, when the autumn it was a Group 1, because the course of that's
20 years ago.
Well, let's go through some of the past winners of the race, the likes of Tie the Knot, Fairway, Universal.
You'll pluck out some
Platinum
fair horses. Go through the ones that are no good that have won it. There'll be just as many.
We've been told to move on. Come on.
Let's move on. So,
in 15 minutes, Shamika is all of the rage on course. At top Sky ratings from Classy Dane, Santissima and Spursent 1, 2, 5 and 4. No scratchings. On course, it's Shamika, clear-cut favourite from Classy Dane. Third elect is Santissima, which has been easy. Then we go to the on-course betting. The top one...
Kelt to filly set weights, and you know, you wouldn't, and my career would have been a lot longer, but I'm content with what...
Mika is in the red well and truly, but slight value on course compared to what you're seeing on the tote. Let's head up to the broadcast tower for the second of our Group 1s.
Time and the Queenslander Victory Highway missed it by 5, and Shamika Untouched by God, the early leaders, a length and a half. Aim for Gold, followed by Unearthly. Miss Ivy and out pretty wide is Salute, a length and a half. Then to Stakes and Touched by God, a half to 3/4 of a length on Salute, a length and a half. Shamika on her outside, Aim for Gold. Over on her inside is Miss Ivy, then Unearthly Barberton, followed by Classy Dane wedged away. A length to Spur Santissima, Lariata and Ike's Dream. Generosa next to last, and 5 or 6 to Victory Highway. Touched by God is the leader around the corner. 3/4 of a length on Salute. Shamika's boxed up. He can't get out on a Cassidy. Miss Ivy's past her with Aim for Gold, and down the outside Unearthly, and Shamika's getting shuffled back, and then a gap to Barberton, but Unearthly hits the front to the 200 and past it. Unearthly, a length and a half. Santissima, Classy Dane the inside, forget Shamika, but it's Unearthly the leader. She's got the Flight Stakes well and truly won, and Unearthly scores a great victory. Very close for second and third, Santissima and Classy Dane, followed by Ike's Dream, and then Barberton, Spur Set and Generosa. Further back was Shamika, followed by Lariata, Aim for Gold. Victory Highway past a few, and those 3 fillies were Touched by God, Miss Ivy and Salute. 36.57 the time.
First for $3,019, Joe McKinnon.
Winner in Sydney.
And thanks to John Camilleri, James Besser for giving me the horse.
And such a dominant win today.
Yeah, she won very well, and I think she got a bright future.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
David Payne winning his first Group 1 here in Australia. He's won many.
As a Beal, she's improved a lot, and she's been drawn badly the last time she's raced Shamika.
And what's your future plans with Unearthly?
She'll go for the 1,000 guineas, and then the Wakeful, and then we'll give her a holiday.
A former champion trainer in South Africa. That was David Payne's first Group 1 win in Australia, and there'll be more for him. A hollow sort of victory to the filly yesterday. What can be said for the favourite, though? Shamika, well, she was hampered in the concluding stages of the race, and in the early part of the race she got galloped on and came back to scale with a pretty severe injury.
Yeah, I think all Jim's trouble stemmed from the fact the first 700 metres of the race, he was there sitting second, 2 or 3 lengths, and Huey Bowman went round on Salute, and Jimmy was more worried about keeping it out, and he sort of stuck in between the leader and Salute for about 500 metres for no reason. Then when he eased it, he took hold to get in behind. The trouble was he was getting to the 800 metre mark then, and then as soon as he grabbed it, they just went up both sides of him, and that was the ball game. He was in a pocket from there till about the 150. Did plod when it got out, but he should never have put himself in a position to have horses to be going backwards at the 850 with other horses going forwards. It's a recipe for disaster. The winner was a good win. It's been crying out for a mile in a truly run race. And I thought one runner in the race that performed quite well was Ike's Dream. I thought his run was exceptionally good.
I've been following Ike's Dream, and as soon as they drop Ike's Dream back to a lower grade race, it's going to win.
It's going to win for sure.
It's pretty handy.
But mile worth 600,000. Ratings with Grand Army ahead of Sportsman and Gallant. 3 from 8 and 17, and then number 9. On course, clearly it's Grand Army. Value the tote. Second pick. Well, it's been very firm. Accelerator, it's value the tote as well. The third elect is probably Thorn Park. In fact, it is Thorn Park just ahead of Foreign Floozy, and from there, Fiery Venture. Late mail time before we do mounting out here at Randwick with Larry Olsen.
Yes, Brennan, there's not a lot happening.
One debutante, Foreign Floozy.
If all goes well, she'll be getting home late and be right in it.
You've done your homework. You've been out here early this morning to walk the track.
Yeah, I had a look at the track. The track's perfect, and just
And on course here at Randwick, Grand Army, a solid favourite. Best back to beat him, Thorn Park. Previous, won by Unearthly. And ready for dispatch. Soon be away. Line steadies. They're racing, and Sportsman from a wide alley got the best of it. The favourite Grand Army jumped out well. Brits Best is right there. Accelerator just off the speed and improving. Fiery Venture with Forum Floozy. Oscar Warren midfield as Crawl loses ground, and the second last now is Gentle Genius. On the side they go past the 900 and Oscar Warrior and Brits Best, the stablemates. Brits Best leads a half-length. Oscar Warrior, third posse Fiery Venture. Grand Army fourth. Stowaway is next. Followed on the extreme outside next as they come down the side by Sportsman. A length and a half to Zabara the inside, and then Stowaway losing ground. Forum Floozy followed closely by Inspire on the rails. A length and a half then coming Accelerator, followed by Amex and Dress Circle. Fence losing ground is Nips, Wyangan Pines and Boreal Clangalang, and then Thorn Park Crawl and Gentle Genius as they round the corner, and Brits Best is the leader, beat off Clangalang. Fiery Venture followed by Grand Army, who sprinted so quickly he hits the front into the 250. Grand Army, Sportsman, Forum Floozy followed by Boreal, Stowaway and then Dress Circle. It's Grand Army in front. Here's Clangalang emerging. Clangalang runs to Grand Army. It's Corey again. Clangalang beat Grand Army and Forum Floozy, followed home by Dress Circle, Boreal, Nips, Sportsman, a length Thorn Park, and then came Zabara, Gentle Genius, Stowaway, Amex, and then Accelerator, Fiery Venture, Oscar Warrior, Galante. Well back in the run, weakening out of it, Brits Best and Crawl likewise. And the last couple in Inspire in company with Wyangan Pines. Galante pulled up quickly in the run on. Clangalang's got the money. Corey's done it again. Able to beat the favourite Grand Army, and Forum Floozy will be third. And Corey Brown has completed the big three today. Niello, Unearthly, and now Clangalang. 2, 3, 20 and...
David Mooney always said, always turn a negative into a positive. So when he hurt himself, I got thinking, I tried to ring David, and I ended up getting on him, had a talk, and I will give it a go.
You turned the horse out magnificently today, and you were quietly confident he'd be there.
Oh yeah, I was confident. His work, his last 3 weeks have been, well, the last 2 weeks since he hurt himself have been terrific, and haven't done a lot with him, but when he sprinted up on Tuesday morning, I was wrapped.
Well, those plans that you had for him are
awesome, not just one pace plugger who won a derby on a biased track.
And you're a damn good trainer.
Thanks, Joe.
Gerald Ryan.
And take a moment and reflect on the riding achievements, Joe, of Corey Brown, not to win one, but all three of the Group 1s up for grabs at Randwick this afternoon.
Home by Dress Circle, Boreal.
I was a little bit confident about the 500 when I started to climb the rise. I dragged him out into the better going. He climbed the rise very well. All I needed was a bit of luck, and from about the 300 onwards, I was fairly confident. I just was watching where horses were going, picking the runs that I needed, and yeah, everything worked out great.
Now, whether they go Cox Plate or Longrow to beat the Cox Plate.
That's exactly right. Well, Longrow has a worthy rival now in the Cox Plate. That's if he goes that way with the horse, mate.
Yeah, he's a very strong horse, Clangalang, isn't he? Will get a very, very strong 2,000 metres, being a Derby winner. I thought, you know, there was a horse in that thing that went round called Nips. It won a Class 2, 3 starts back. It performed well against Sportsman the other day and stepped up to a Group 1 company today. I think it was about his 7th or 8th start. He got poleaxed at the start. It was never more than 5 or 6 close to the inside. I know the outside of the track was best late in the day, and it still ran on well. Actually ran on better than Thorn Park. It was an amazing run.
Yeah, let's talk about the winner though. What a good horse he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a super horse, Clangalang. I reckon he's a big chance in the Cox Plate. I know I've heard that John Hawkes doesn't rate him a chance in the Cox Plate, but I think he'll run on strong in a Cox Plate. The horse I'd be worried about for the Cox Plate is Grand Army. Not that he ran badly yesterday. He had a tougher run than Clangalang, and he battled on very, very well. He's a very good horse. But whether he's a Cox Plate horse, I'm not sure. But
probably hasn't got the acceleration.
Yeah, he seems to one-bat it a little bit. Maybe sat off the pace a little bit further, he'd produce a bit of a sharper sprint. But it was a very good run. Sportsman was a great run again. He got trapped out. No luck. From Forum Floozy followed him. She was out wide, but she had cover, and she ran on well, Joe.
What a training performance by Gerald Ryan too. To think that less than a month ago, Clangalang's Spring Carnival looked like it was totally over through injury, and then he was back again, and he's done a great job to get the horse.
Yeah, if people had listened to your interview with Gerald yesterday, it was a fantastic leg up. He said all he did was glowing reports about the horse, how fresh it had got, and the swimming and the gallops. It was very good. One other runner there, Dress Circle.
Oh,
it wasn't
He's an old beauty.
He's an old beauty. He got out, he was in the pocket for 300 metres and got out and flashed home. Very good run.
Those dollars, but you can take nothing away from the winner. And I have to congratulate you, Alfie, because on this show last week, you really heaped plaudits on Corey Brown in a very big way.
Yeah, Graham, it's nice to be able to say it in advance of it actually taking place. But look, I sincerely mean it. You know, in our time, or the time that I've spent in racing, Corey Brown is right up there with the best jockeys I've ever seen. And it was vindicated yesterday by an outstanding ride on Clangalang. He'll go to the Cox Plate, I hope, because I think he'll be a genuine chance in it. Lonro's off.
Like a Gov, Comforts, Dashing Away and Outlaws, 7, 10, 20 and 15 are the ratings numbers. And it's a very, very open affair. Here are the main chances. I think Carnegie Express remains favourite at $6. That's how open it is. It's 5-2 on the field. County Tyrone's a chance, and Like a Gov, number 10, and then down to Outlaws, number 15. And of Bart's trio, best of those is Dashing Away, number 20. It's interesting sense. Let's join Ian Craig for his description of the Metrop.
They're racing. And they jumped in a beautiful line too, and My Tally is one of the early leaders. Live by the Sword from the wide gate is coming across to join My Tally. Outlaws not far away, and so too Comforts and Like a Gov. And then Dashing Away County Tyrone, followed by Daneborough Carnegie Express. And then Daneborough followed by Far Was Carnegie Express, County Tyrone. And then My Chanticleer. 2 lengths further back is Bedouin. Henderson Bay, followed by Ledger Domain, who's a long way out of his ground with Victory Smile. And Bodie is last. They pack up in the Metrop, 550 to go. And the rider on My Tally is going for home on the Novocastrian. And around the corner, My Tally, 2 lengths Like a Gov. Live by the Sword dropped off from Daneborough. And then Flying Chance, Outlaws Dashing Away, Far Was Navy Blue. And then Comforts, followed on the outside by Bedouin. They race to the 250. Daneborough got to the front. Here's Bedouin wide out. Far Was sticking on well from Flying Chance and Dashing Away from Bodie. It's Daneborough taken on by Bedouin. Bedouin hits the front from Daneborough fighting back, but Bedouin seems to have Daneborough's measure, and Bedouin wins the Metrop from Daneborough. Bodie third, Far Was fourth, then Flying Chance, Navy Blue, Comforts, followed by My Tally, My Chanticleer, Victory Smile, Henderson Bay, Dashing Away, County Tyrone, and then a gap to Like a Gov, followed by Carnegie Express. A good margin then came Outlaws with Ledger Domain, and Live by the Sword was last to complete the course. Number 5 wins the Metrop for 2003, and that is Bedouin, ridden by Glenn Boss.
Daneborough and Bodie. 4th was Far Was, number 16. The first 4 paid $165,529. Bradshaw Empire, 9. Bradshaw Empire, Fortune and Pompeii, 4, 6, 10 and 13. For the ratings, here's the market, main ones, Into the Night, Bradshaw and Empire. For the shorts, shame it's wet today because Shogun Lodge and Star of Florida aren't really at home on wet tracks, so they've come out. Fair Embrace and Fortune's very well fancied at 4.
Is Fawadi down in the weights at $13. So they'll be moving up. There's also a value bet on offer. They'll be moving up. There's also a value bet on offer.
And Polygram stood there. Mr. Dilling, Pompeii bounced in front from Fawadi. Fortune going up quickly. Centre Fire and Fair Embrace with Presently there into the night at Empire not far away. Fortune leads narrowly from Presently, Fair Embrace. And Lucky Night is whipping up on the outside. Deeper still is Pompeii. And then Centre Fire into the night. Poetic Papal Empire. Further back, Fawadi, Moa Man. Getting back out of its ground. Bradshaw, so too Proudly Aggro, and the grey from Western Australia, Polygram around the corner, and Fair Embrace slipped through to take the lead, Presently second. Fortune is running third, and then Poetic Papal closer to the inside. Lucky Night still battling on. They run to the 250, Fair Embrace in front. Lucky Night on the outside is starting to bridge the gap. It's Fair Embrace and Lucky Night. Lucky Night draws level with Fair Embrace from Poetic Papal. Fair Embrace and Lucky Night are going to the line, locked together, and Lucky Night got it from Fair Embrace. Third, Poetic Papal or Proudly Aggro, and then came Into the Night, Fortune, Polygram, Centre Fire, Presently Bradshaw, and then Moa Man, followed up by Empire and a long margin Fawadi, and Pompeii finished at the tail of the field. 34.84, 35.72, and the 5th and 6th placings to follow.
Guy's had a bit of a harrowing day. He went back to Sydney for the trials yesterday. You've only just made it to the track.
Yeah, it's quite thanks to Qantas Airlines, and we won't go into that.
At least you're here, mate, and you're with us. Spinning Hill, tremendous race coming up to Schillaci. She's done well this week.
Yeah, fine.
It'll start to beat just that little bit quicker.
Spinning Hill, the favourite. Well, is there a leader's bias? Can she get back and give them a start? Will she sit as close as she did in the Manikato? She had a beautiful trail there. Racing now. Spinning Hill jumping well. Azevedo bombed the start, and he's last. Pemberton back there with him. Hailey Berry began brilliantly and crosses from the outside, and she leads by 2.5 inside 200 metres. Dantana second. Lovely Jubbly outside. Super Elegant there, going very fast. 3 lengths away then came Yell. Azevedo. Spinning Hill back to second last. Pemberton last. At the 500, Hailey Berry 3/4. Dantana 1 Lovely Jubbly. 1.5 lengths Super Elegant. Azevedo. Then Yell in the All Cerise. Spinning Hill easing to the outside, and Pemberton. Hailey Berry came around the turn by 1 length to Dantana. Lovely Jubbly. Super Elegant getting into the race now, and Spinning Hill is right down the outside, letting down with her run. Dantana moved up to tackle Hailey Berry. Still Hailey Berry had the lead. 100 to go from Dantana. Lovely Jubbly and Spinning Hill. Hailey Berry is giving everything. What a great comeback. Hailey Berry beats Dantana by a length. Spinning Hill is third. Then the others in a line virtually. Lovely Jubbly. Yell never came into it. Super Elegant and Pemberton. And back last is Azevedo. A stunning return to the racetrack by this filly, Hailey Berry. Winning at this level, which young racehorses rarely do.
And say to him before the race, don't be talking to Callow, because I know how Noel rides, and I wanted to ride her aggressively with 49.5 and just upset Dantana a little bit if it was possible. He had every chance. I knew he'd peel off, and C knew it. He's got some, just say, courage about him, and you know, 49.5. We went forward on her and rode her aggressively and took the punt, and it was all good.
She held off. Be special though. She can fly. She can fly.
She's bloody good filly.
Well done.
Thank you.
We had planned to go out and try and head off Dantana. We thought he might get a soft lead, so if we thought if we could catch him napping early and we could get to the front and put him in behind us, he was always going to be hard to get past us with 49.5.
Hailey Berry, they took full advantage of the track bias, and Froggy knew it there. Well, Froggy makes me laugh. He doesn't really know. He's not big on respect or fear, Froggy. He just does it the way he does it, and he drove that filly to the front. And at 49.5 kilos, it's very good to see a bloke at that weight who can ride them out as strongly as Craig Newitt can. And there you go, he's given it the big punch and the slap on the side, and well done to Craig. I thought the mare Spinning Hill, she did well, but the track bias played against her, and it probably played worse in that race than any of them, Alf.
Yeah, I'd agree, but a great tactics by Mick Price and Craig Newitt. And Andrew Bensley actually did an interview about 2 minutes before they jumped, which made everybody aware that Hailey Berry was in fact going to do exactly what they did. Dantana just didn't fly out the gates like he normally did. I thought Noel Callow opted correctly and let it go. Sat, came off the fence, gave it its chance to run on and try and beat it, given the difference in weight. Spinning Hill was awesome, and Yell I still thought was a little bit disappointing. Just doesn't seem to give up on him yet.
That race was first run in 1970, and Hailey Berry was the first 3-year-old filly to win it, so she's pretty good. Spinning Hill run off her legs, great performance, and Yell, he'll be in a paddock tomorrow.
Okay.
That in Caulfield, the Winning Edge Presentation Stakes, our Sky ratings, first of all, they look this way. On top, it's High Fuji at big odds from Grey Song, Yakama and Physique, 11 from 1, 7 and 8. On course, it's Grey Song ahead of Vicksburg and Piace equal second favourites.
Well, very hard. Physique is a likely leader, did lead at Sandown previous to its success.
Racing. And Grey Song was slow. He missed it by about a length, and Sharpener went over their heels with Yakama, and they're heading over towards the fence in the early stages. Serpentile looks like he wants the front-running role. Millseal's up there with him, and Physique and Piace are going on wide out. Down to the judge, good speed here, and Physique is going to cross and lead, I'd say, from Millseel the inside. Out to the railway side they race now, and Physique is in front by a length. Millseel is second, Piace third. High Fuji a length away fourth. fourth and 2 lengths away. Vicksburg outside Serpentire. Going forward now, Grey Song around Turmeric. Sharpers following Grey Song home. And then Bolbard on the inside of Big Pat and Yakama. Coming up the side now, nearing the 600. Physique and Middle Zeal kick away by 4 lengths. Piace left a bit flat-footed when they went. Vicksburg went around him. Sharpeter runs on. High Fergie struggled. And Yakama's making ground on the outside with Grey Song. They come to the corner now. Middle Zeal and Physique together. Vicksburg in the red sleeves, a big challenger. Sharpeter wider out. Yakama coming and then Piace. Physique on the rails, just the leader. Here's Vicksburg winding up. Yakama deep and Middle Zeal is still there at any old odds. Next is Piace and then Big Pat. Physique being tackled now by Yakama. Oliver throws everything at the mare. She's come from last. She races clear and Yakama wins it. Either Vicksburg or Physique for the miners, with Big Pat a good run wide out, and then Serpentire. Piace very one pace today. Middle Zeal next, and then Turmeric, Bolbard, Sharpeter. Grey Song didn't finish his race off, and High Fuji last of all. Yakama gives Damien Oliver his
7-1 was the race time, 2 minutes 30.71. And then
Damien Oliver and Yakama there did defy the pattern and came around the field from the rear, but it had been set up with a pretty strong pace early on in the race, and that continued throughout as they topped the hill at the 1200. They really clapped on the pace, allowing Yakama to work her way into the race, and got home pretty well. Thought it was a pretty good trial for longer races coming up, but I'm not sure about whether the winner of the big Cups races ever comes out of that race anymore, Alf.
No, I think inclined to...
Counting down to the first of 3 Group 1s. This is the real stuff, isn't it? This is one of the defining...
Really is fantastic.
99 Reduce and Testarossa. A couple of years later, it was Lonhro. We'll see what awaits this year. Here's the Sky ratings on the Group 1 Caulfield Guineas. They've gone this way. Exceed and Excel. Well clear of Ambulance, Scaredy Cat and Largo Delight. 3 from 4, 5 and 6. On course, it's Exceed and Excel. Clearly the favourite from Ambulance. And what's been a front runner's track by Yakama. Third pick is Hasna, and then we go to Elvestra. Is Ambulance the horse which can deliver John Hawkes another victory in this time-honoured semi-classic?
Martin joining us there.
He's already enjoyed 2 winners this afternoon at Rose Hill. Now, Exceed and Excel on course continues to tighten in. It's come in another margin on course, and it remains value on the tote. Ambulance, though, has been very, very easy, and the tote price you're seeing is a lot less than what they're betting on course. And the third pick on...
Racing in the Guineas. And the first out, Exceed and Excel. In the early stages, Largo Delight goes to second. Stardane's improving on the outside and goes and sits outside the leader now. Exceed and Excel has enough pace to lead Stardane. And at Exceed and Excel did it pretty well. Leading by a length here to Kuzi to second. Stardane a neck away third. 3 lengths further back in Top Swing. They're followed by Largo Delight and Scaredy Cat. 2 lengths to Face Value, followed by Ambulance. He's hard ridden at the moment with Kempinski on his outside, and they were trailed further back then by Penitentiary. Elstrom has the second last, and last is Canny Opera at the 500 and Exceed and Excel. Bowman just slipped him a bit of rain, and he shot about 2 or 3 lengths in front before the turn from Kuzi in Top Swing. Face Value making ground on the inside, and then came Largo Delight. Exceed and Excel the leader. Callow's winding up in Top Swing, and he's after this front runner now, and then Face Value's got to third. Nothing else is running on in Top Swing. Went straight past Exceed and Excel. Could this be Callow's first Group 1? Running on his Face Value on the outside, but it's in Top Swing in front. He's out by a length and a half, and it's in Top Swing, winning it for Callow. Face Value second, 3 lengths Kempinski. Thingy Grad's third from Ambulance and Elstrom. Canny Opera's made a lot of ground, and then Hasna. Exceed and Excel didn't run it out, and next to finish is Kuzi, followed by Scaredy Cat, Largo Delight, and Stardane was last of all. Capping what has been a stellar 12 months for Noel Callow, one of the winningest jockeys in Australia, is a Group 1 on In Top Swing.
Go from Kuzi in Top Swing, then Scaredy Cat, Ambulance a mile back, but Exceed and Excel straightened by 2 lengths in the running now. In Top Swing off the fences after him. In Top Swing has got to this leader, Exceed and Excel. Then further back, Face Value coming home well. In Top Swing in front of the 200-metre mark. He's out a good 2 lengths in front. From In Top Swing, followed further back by Exceed and Excel. It's still in this front. In Top Swing from Trying Hard on the outside. No, In Top Swing gets home 3/4 to Face Value. 2 or 3 away. Third, it's Ambulance or Kapinski. They're followed by Elstrom. Then further back in the race came Kenny Opera from...
And have a look at this. He's even given Letzi a kiss, and you don't get the opportunity of doing that too often, and let's hope you don't. Look at that, standing high in the irons. He's back on the rails. He went off the rails for a while, Noel Callow, and it's a credit to him that he's knuckled down and made such a professional job.
It was important for him too, Pete, because he's had a tremendous year, Noel Callow. He's not going to do a star jump, is he? A la Frankie, no, he's not. But he's had a tremendous year. I mean, nobody's been riding better in Victoria all year than Noel Callow. But now, Spring Carnival, Group 1, bang, he's ridden a screw. He has done the jump. A Group 1 win for Noel Callow. Great effort, son.
Yeah, well done.
Notion of this win.
Oh, it's pretty good, I think, yeah.
You reckon you jumped down out of the grandstand in one foul swoop, mate?
It was the wind. Blew me down, it was great.
What about the run? You felt it, Exceed and Excel put the pace on?
Yeah, I thought if he was handy enough, he'd finish on strong. I was a bit worried early in the day that the horses was, on the speed and winning. But, I mean, he's gone incredible this week, and, I mean, everything's just gone so well with him. His work's been terrific, and he's...
hasn't been spoken.
That's always a good sign, too. No one ever give Landsliding a chance in a Stradbroke either, but he won, so it's usually a good sign for me. For a spell, he'll go home, and we'll get him ready for the autumn.
Well done. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks a lot.
Noel Mayfield Smith joining us.
First chance, I had a really good, ride in the race, and I was just happy he won for me.
The horse was perfect. Everything.
Talented horseman Noel Mayfield Smith, and that horse may have been a bit underrated. I mean, he did win the Golden Rose up here at Rose Hill, the inaugural $1 million race, and people said, well, it looked like a bit of a fluker's race. Well, he's franked that form, and he certainly looks like a horse of the future there. I like the way he chased the leader, Exceed and Excel, but, well, he might have got a bit excited, Huey Bowman, on Exceed and Excel and let him go a bit early. What do you think, Alf?
Actually, Richard, I do agree with you there. Given the fact that natural horses with natural speed, you don't have to be aggressive on them at all. I tell you what, Elvstrom, I thought, was in fact the run of the race, even though it was beaten some 4 1/4 lengths, or, 4 1/2 lengths. I thought he was the sufferer of a bit of interference where Reese McLeod was suspended in the early stages of the race. I thought Ambulance was very good getting home from a long way back. Kempinski, 4th start in a race. He's going okay, but I think what you've got to take into consideration here, they were still beaten fairly convincingly. I thought Face Value also stuck to his guns under tough circumstances after getting a pretty cosy run on the inside, pretty easy. And I thought that effort was also very good, given the fact that it's probably the first time he's got a respectable run this preparation.
Tim Martin said that Exceed and Excel just wasn't the same horse that he was on Dubai Racing Club Cup Day. The delight of the race was the response from Noel Callow. I've not seen a more jubilant jockey. We got the traditional tongue poke. We got a sort of a unique half stand on the horse, and we got a star jump as well thrown in. That was his first Group 1 success. He rode 30 winners in September, a Victorian record, broke it by...
And there's an interesting future ahead for Exceed and Excel. In the immediate period, he'll go to the paddock, but then Connections are hoping to aim him for the 1,200-metre race that he's run on Dubai World Cup night. I think it's the Golden Shaheen.
Yep, good race too. I tell you what, for mine, the Derby run in the race was Kempinski. I mean, he's bred to be a Derby winner as a 3-year-old. He's got the pedigree, and he was trapped off the track the whole way. And coming to the corner, he didn't really know how to get between horses, and he ducked in behind another horse, then peeled out, and he was just grinding home beautifully at the end. He's the one I want to follow.
Yeah, I have to say...
Mummify and Defy hoping to upstage the pin-up boy of Sydney Racing, Lonhro.
Yes, I wish him all the best, because I don't think they'll be capable of... I just think Longhro's drawn perfectly in barrier 2. Mummify will go with him, in my opinion, in the early stages to keep him off the fence, because I think it's a bonus, because there'll be a few jockeys wanting to make moves at different times of this event to try and hold him up, but I don't think they'll be good enough too, Brendan.
Well, let's have a look at the Sky ratings and see how they've gone. Lonhro on top, and Lonro's the clear-cut on-course favourite. From Defier and Distinctly Secret, and Hale was the fourth pick. 1 from 2 and 3, then number 4. Lonro's all the rage in the saddle today is Lonro's regular hoop, Darren Beedman.
Well, Darren, there's been a few comments.
What more can you do?
You can't. It is an absolutely awesome record.
It is just amazing. They are running.
Distinctly Secret standing a little awkwardly, and Helenus again took a dive. They're off. Helenus bounded away from the stalls. Distinctly Secret slow. Lonro jumped okay. He's steadying about midfield early. Helenus is going for the lead ahead of Mummify, Platinum Scissors and Darchave as they settle down. Then came Defy. He's up and about 4th or 5th. So they came up the side. They passed 1,000 metres, and Platinum Scissors by a half. Helenus is second. 2 lengths Mummify. Run of the race third on the inside of Darchave. A length and a quarter further back to Fire. They're followed by Hale. 2 lengths further back at the 800 Lonro, within about 7 of the leader now, perhaps a little less. And Distinctly Secret last. Platinum Scissors leading from Helenus in second placing. Around the Marchave, then Mummify, followed by Defier. Further back, Hard Ridden as Hale. Next in the field then Lonro. Beedman about to light the fuse on the Black Champ. And last of all is Distinctly Secret. But Platinum Scissors the leader. He's giving something around the turn. Leading from Archave Defier. Here's Lonro, pulled to the outside now, about to let down. Coming to the 200, Mummify got up on the inside. On the outside, Lonro explodes. And Lonro hits the front now. Mummify can't go with him. And then Defier and Platinum Scissors, but it's Lonro going on in the hoof prints of Kingston Town. Lonro by a length and a half. Mummify second, Defier third, Platinum Scissors 4, and then Hale Distinctly Secret, followed by Archave, and Helenus is last of all.
Turning Platinum Scissors 3/4 to the Boulder Archivate. Defier joining in, and here comes Lonro. Peeling out to the centre, and up on the inside goes Mummify. 300 out, Platinum Scissors tackled by Mummify. Lonro down the outside, getting it on top of Defier. He's got him, the big black from Sydney. He's raced to the front now, Lonro, from Mummify, and then further back to Fire. $4 million in 22 races for Lonro. A length and a quarter Mummify, 2 to Defier third. Then further back, Platinum Scissors, followed by Hale. Distinctly Secret back behind those, Archivade, and Helenus is last.
Second Yalumba Caulfield. Lonro wins his second Yalumba Caulfield Stakes. The first horse to win back-to-back since Kingston Town in the early 1980s. Coming from second last, a most authoritative, defiant victory. He just was let loose around the turn by Beedman. He came right around the field, and he had them at the 200-metre mark, and Darren just allowed him to coast the last little bit. Soft hands and heels has allowed him to... We've got a pretty tight favourite as far as the Cox Plate is concerned, and maybe some of the doubters will just stop yakking the way they have been. Afternoon, 22 from 29, and he is just the best racehorse in Australia by a country mile, and he's proven it again here at Caulfield today.
The others too much either, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's got no respect for his other rivals.
Darren, what about riding a horse like this? When you go out, there's a great expectation on you, isn't there, to win? But what a thrill in the straight when he picks them up. He just winds them up, doesn't he?
He's an absolute privilege to ride this horse, like, you know.
You get emotional over him, don't you?
Yeah, he's a good horse.
Congratulations.
3 years in a row at this meeting, he's delivered amazing performances.
Yeah, someone was saying he wasn't a real Melbourne horse, but anyway, that's the way it goes. But he's a super horse, and look, they went to Cup, a couple of those were, Caulfield Melbourne Cup runners and things like that. But, Defier's a great horse, and he whacked away good, but we had the drop on him, and I don't think I've seen D. Beedman as cool as a cucumber like that. He was cool in the mountain enclosure. I reckon he was 10 times colder out there.
Bring on the Cox Plate?
Well, they don't give them away. If they do, can you get me a couple of them? But, it's nice going in the Cox Plate winning like we did today.
It's on in 2.
And he found the line quite good, so we were pretty happy with him.
I guess smaller field this one, but he did something not a lot many horses have done today. Come from well back and really did finish off strong.
Oh, yeah, well, he's wait for ages his go, and whether they go slow or fast doesn't matter. So, and he just got the wood on most of them this time around. He's matured a lot more this time, and he's just a lovely horse, and he just continues to win, so it's great.
The Cox Plate is the next one. Is he got to win that race to match him up to Octagonal?
I don't want to get into that argument. I'll leave that to everyone else. But, you know, he's doing all he can do. And, I mean, horses just don't do what he's done. You only got to look at his record. So, we've only got a couple of weeks to go. But the Cox Plate's the one I've always wanted from, you know, day one, all this preparation. So, really, until I perhaps get that under my belt, well, you know, as I said, you know, that's the one I want. And really, it's not over until I perhaps win that race. So, when we win that one, well, you know, then we can smile.
Yeah, it looks as though we'll be smiling too. Good on you, John. Thank you. But, of course, as we alluded to just a few moments ago and Joe mentioned, the race was certainly not without incident. Darren Beedman has been suspended until the night of the Cox Plate, which means if he loses the appeal, which I believe is going to be lodged early next week, he won't be able to ride Lonhro in the Cox Plate. So we'll see what transpires there. We might have a look at the head-on, Rich. So the horse in question is Archer V in the...
yeah, the incident's just happened there already.
It's already happened,
if we can go back, you'll see Lonhro start to hang in when he just straightens up Defy, who rolls in onto Archave. Greg Charles has to check Archave, and Lonhro, of course, here it comes here. As he tightens him up, the Archave in the blue cap there, you see, whoop, and Greg has a look around to make sure he's in the clear, but tell you what, it was, no doubt it was interference, but I don't know if it deserved to get out into a Cox Plate for it, but it's a fairly severe penalty for that. But you've got to keep your mount straight.
I don't know whether he should have got the 2 weeks, but far and away the best horse in this race by a country mile. Defy battled away okay. Probably didn't have the bias to suit him perfectly, but Lonhro came from behind him and, you know, donkey licked him the last 100 and went on with it for a good win.
OK, Alf,
the big ride ahead next Saturday week in the Cox Plate. This morning, John Hawkes saying that he might pull a rabbit out of the hat if Beedman is unavailable to ride Lonhro in the Cox Plate. I wonder what he meant by that. Could it be someone from the Northern Hemisphere, perhaps?
Maybe RS Dye.
It could be.
It might even be Frankie Dettori.
I spoke to John this morning.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
And that was exactly what he said. He said, assume nothing. Corey Brown, I guess most of us would assume would be the automatic replacement rider, being one of their...
With him, he ran well, pulled up really good, came into the run well, hasn't hurt him today.
Lonhro was too good for us today. You know, it was a bit slowly run again, and he's just not quickening off the slow pace like he used to, the old boy. And it'd be nice to see him get into a genuinely run race, and that would suit him better, I'm sure.
Yes, while Lonhro dominated there, a few of the handicappers did run all right. Mummify ran well, got flattered by a bit by having the best run in the race, but it was a good effort to outsprint a couple of weight-for-age horses. I thought Platinum Scissors did pretty well too. He sat up, made the pace and batted on pretty well. The Caulfield Cup, with his big weight drop, will suit him down to the ground. He'd be hard to beat in that. And, well, Harley ran all right, but Helenus, gone, finished. No good this spring.
Bobo.
Yeah.
Defy, we mentioned Defy again?
Well, Defy's had problems with his feet all spring, you know, and I don't think he's at his best. I think he's under his best. I know Michael's bagging him, but I think he's under.
All I ever said was the horse does not win often enough. His last 10 starts, he's yielded 1 win. Lonhro's last 10 starts, he's yielded 9 wins, you know. He's won 5 times out of 21 starts at group level. The horse has got a good motor, but he's got to be really put in the right race and get the right spot to win. He gets things go against him slightly, he can't finish it off.
Acceleration is no end.
And on course, Sky Ratings with number 9, Macedon Lady from Mr Murphy, Natural Blitz and Rosina Lad. 9 from 3 and 2, and then number 12. On course, host of chances, True Glow, just holds favouritism. Now there's a host of them. Natural Blitz, Titanic Jack, Macedon Lady and Yvonne are all close to equal second favourite. And from there we go to the likes of the Kiwi, Rosina Lad and Gordo, which are also well fancied. So that's for the third of our Group 1s, the 7 years Toorak Handicap, Yvonne. That's good years of racing. He's raced on this very day, be it at Caulfield or elsewhere. This day for 7 years in a row, including winning 2 Tooraks. Just amazing. They will run a little rate for this race.
He was well over it, so I'm very pleased with him.
Cox Plate, that previous race winner, you're going to have to try pretty hard to beat him.
So did Rum, they're off. Natural Blitz jumped okay on the inside and away quickly in the early stages is True Glow in company with Tycoon Ruler. Going across fast now is Yvonne going for the lead, and Old Umrum's up there with Creanza. A good battle as they settle fully into stride. Macedon Lady went back to second last, and it's Umrum, the dual winner, going to the front at the 1200. It's worse in midfield on the inside of Fields of Omar, and then Roman Arch followed by Titanic Jack, Macedon Lady, and Emission on the inside as last of all by the 800 metres. And it's Umrum, the leader, out by Nick Creanza, Ain't Seen Nothing, and Roxar is 4 wide. Yvonne with a dream run right behind them over on the inside as they came up the side, and then Mr. Murphy, Rosina Ladd, round the outside, Roman Arch in the all-white. True Glow has something to offer, but he's bailed up, and they were followed as they come to the corner by Gordo, Fields of Omar, Tycoon Ruler, and then Macedon Lady and Natural Blitz still about third last, coming around the home turn now, and it's Umrum tackled by Ain't Seen Nothing. Roman Arch swept up on the outside, then came Yvonne, True Glow persevering for inside runs, and next is Fields of Omar and Macedon Lady. Roman Arch in front at the 150, Fields of Omar coming home, and then Macedon Lady and Umrum. It's Roman Arch in front though in the dying stages in the Toorak, and Roman Arch beats Fields of Omar by 2 lengths. Umrum might have got the third. Titanic Jack rattled home there. Rosina Ladd's wide out. True Glow next. Don't think he had a lot of room. Next Yvonne, Mission. Followed further back Lawson Storm, Macedon Lady, Mr. Murphy, and further back was Roxar. And then Ain't Seen Nothing, Creanza, Natural Blitz, Gordo, and Tycoon Ruler.
Into the straight, they race it out deep on the track. Roman Arch has gone up now to tackle. Ain't Seen Nothing from Umrum, is struggling. 2 lengths further back, Fields of Omar down the middle with Macedon Lady. The leader on the outside, Roman Arch from Umrum. Fields of Omar coming home well out in the middle. Roman Arch kick clear. Fields of Omar going after him with Umrum. Roman Arch in front, and Roman Arch a length and a half to Fields of Omar second. Third home on the inside is Umrum. Titanic Jack right behind them. Then out wider is Rosina Ladd from True Glow Yvonne. Then Emission further back in the race, Lawson Storm. They're followed.
Get a word on Scott. What about the owners? And well done, Mick Whittle.
Yeah, all I can say is that bloke that said that he'd been up too long, he wants to learn a bit about horses and shut his mouth.
Oh, well, you don't worry about that if you've backed him at $24.
No.
Gave you a great thrill coming up to the home turn. He burst away from them.
Oh, look, I said to the owners this week, he'd been over here all week, and the wife looked after him and that's really well. And he had a lot more things going for him today. He was going around run 30 at a yell at Caulfield, and there was so many more things going for him, not having to travel from South Australia.
How about
Rosina Ladd's wide out, True Glow.
Luke winning your first Group 1. How does it feel a little while after now?
No, it's still sinking in, Andrew.
Just take us through, because you gave the horse, you know, every chance coming to the home turn.
Yeah, you know, I just got back probably a bit further than I thought, but there's plenty of pressure on early in the race. And then I think the main thing was being a fit horse. You know, he had that uninterrupted run down the side and sort of got to roll up.
But that bloke is underrated. He's a very, very capable rider, Luke Curry, and I think you're going to see him go on now over the years and win plenty of big races. You can ride fairly light, and I think you'll see plenty of him. I have to say, it was a bit of a mix-up race. I mean, Roman Arch, $17, I think he was, that started, yeah, maybe 20 to 1 in the ring. But I tell you what, he swooped around the outside. There were plenty of hard luck stories behind him, plenty of interference in the race.
That was the key to him winning, when he swooped around him and got to the front before or just when they straightened up. And then you could see he rolls back to the fence, which was the best part of the track, and holds on. Probably wasn't the greatest Toorak field you've ever seen, but all honours with Roman Arch. He's been racing extremely well in South Australia. He's come over here and had a couple of runs. But he's a very, very honest horse.
He won the Balaclava Cup with a big weight, so he had a big weight drop there, and that's True Glow still looking for a way out along the fence there. What did you think of the race, Alf?
The trainer wasn't lost for words yesterday, Alfie.
He actually, Mick Whittle, trains the winner Roman Arch on a rope from his car at Strathalbyn. It's quite amazing, but all honours weren't with the winner. Surely some honours were shared by Umrum. That was the 6th time that he had run in the race. He's won it twice. He's finished second on one occasion, and yesterday's third was his third placing. He's an absolute marvel, and he was given the honour of leading the field out yesterday.
don't think we should gloss over the achievements of the trainer totally. I think we've probably underplayed that. I mean, the guy has cast-offs galore. He's done a remarkable job with this horse. He's won 7 races with Roman Arch since June this year, and that's a phenomenal...
The Titanic was a big...
Group 1 race this afternoon is the Vinery Stud 1000 Guineas from Caulfield, and the race is coming up. It's due in 13 minutes. The ratings are with Special Harmony and Unearthly, then Shamika and Santissima, 2, 3, 1 and 7. Shamika's the interesting runner, the filly down from Sydney, to be ridden by Jim Cassidy, who's speaking with Alf Matthews.
Jimmy, a lot was said the other day with Shamika getting held up back towards the inside. How detrimental...
Including this one, Hinting. Drawn awkwardly, but 4 of the past 7 winners have come from double-figure barrier stall positions. Only racing, and the starter sent them away well. Portland Damask leading out from Shamika, hard-ridden, trying to cross the field and finds the lead early. Tully Bellotto's up handy from Santissima. Now Special Harmony settling down about 5th or 6th. It's Shamika going quickly through the first part of the race, leading by a length and a half at the 1200. Santissima closes aside. Shamika the leader at the 800 metres by a length. Santissima second. About 2.5 away, Portland Damask on the inside from Bahamian Star, and then Ashanti No Luck. Tully Bellotto on the inside in the blue and white colours, followed by Special Harmony, and then came Unearthly, Charm View, Hinting, and Spur Centres last. At the 550, Shamika the leader, about a length in front of Santissima. On the outside, Bahamian Star from Ashanti. Portland Damask right behind the leader now, and they were followed further back by Tully Bellotto. Special Harmony trying to work clear, but she's in traffic as they corner. Shamika comes away from the rail, leads Santissima. Getting up on the inside, Portland Damask has hit the front with Spur Cent, who's railed right through. Spur Cent goes to the lead on the inside now. Here's Special Harmony seeing daylight, and she's sprinting up strongly. Hinting with a run on the outside, but Special Harmony hits the front. Hinting closes the outside. Special Harmony wins it. Special Harmony by 2 lengths brilliantly from Hinting. Spur Cent ahead away 3rd. Portland Damask 4th, and then came Charm View Ashanti, followed further back in the field. At the head of the other fillies then was Unearthly, Santissima, Tully Bellotto, Shamika tiring very badly, and Bahamian Star is last of all. Special Harmony, Damien Oliver and Lee Freedman take out the Vinery Stud 1000 Guineas in brilliant style. And for Lee Freedman, it's his 3rd victory in this 1000 Guineas. He's had 3 placings since he last won it in 1994 with Northwood Plume. He also scored in 92, which it was the filly that Damien rode, Azuro. But she has just relished getting out over a little bit of ground and drive.
Very much so. I mean, you know, to extricate herself from the pocket and then sprint as hard as she did, she's clearly the best filly at the moment. Yeah.
At the home turn, you would have been holding your breath, and then that gap opened.
Gap opened up. She was good enough to get through it, and then once she got into the clear, she was very hard to beat.
What are the options, Lee?
Probably just the Wakeful and then the Oaks and a spell.
Really? All right, good luck. Well done.
This afternoon, some of the classic contenders go around in the 4th race on the program. One of those is the Caulfield Guineas.
Our former Australian jockeys back here at Caulfield on Caulfield Cup Day, and I refer to none other than Dwayne Dung, the very, very successful rider. Dwayne, good to see you back home.
Great to be home, Al.
Blackfriars in 99. Righto, Brendan, very good guide to the Derby in recent years, this particular race. The Amy Norman Robinson field assembling behind the line. An interesting affair. Face Noble Red out the back with Pay Keys, and Casual Pass first out with Serira. Going on our court, trying to find the lead. Zabek's 4th, but wants to over-race a little early. Then the filly Royal Mask on the inside of Face Value. Tooling Virtue and Noble Red as last as they come by the 800-metre mark. And the leader our court, Casual Pass, hopped off the rails, is now 3/4 of a length away. Serira the inside, followed by Zab Express. Wonder Royal Mask, Face Value, and then our Purring easing out wider as they came towards the 600, followed by Paykeys, P8 and Noble Red, and Extolling Virtue left last. Coming around the home turn now in the Norman Robinson, and the leader is our court from Casual Pass, Zab Express, Serira right behind them looking for somewhere to go. Face Value with a run. Paykeys right off the track as they cornered. Noble Red out sprinted at this stage down towards the 200, and our court still had it. Casual Pass after it. Here's Royal Mask, Face Value, and wider out as Paykeys, but it's Casual Casual Pass hitting the front with 100 to go. He drew a half in front, and he's going to run the trip right out. Casual Pass wins it by 2 lengths. Second placing to our court, Face Value grabbing the third from Royal Mask. And then came Noble Red, and back behind him to finish in the race was Pay Keys, and then Serera. A long break P8 now, our purring Extolling Virtue, and Zab Express pulled his way out of it and was last in. Casual Pass for Noel Callow.
Is Derby bound on that?
It's up with a David was the paid late norm.
Okay, you haven't paid up. No. Okay, we'll try and get that clarified.
Footed Casual Pass. Any horses that were back in the field in a relatively slowly run race had a tough time of it. They've had the blinkers on him for the last 3 runs, and he's won them all. And Ronnie, he looks impressive. Do you think he'll stay the trip for the Derby?
Look, I'm a little concerned. They've got to come up with $75,000 late entry fee. This was a real on-pace race where it was very hard to make up ground. Look, he's been up since, I think, April, this horse. He's just gone from strength to strength. And as you said, Richard, I think the blinkers have done the trick. But I just don't feel that was a staying test.
No, actually, I'm a little inclined to agree with you there, Ron. Noel, what did you think of the way the race was?
Relax in the first furlong, but when I got him behind our court, yeah, he just made it for me, and there was a little bit of Jerry Maguire, you know, help me, help you, and it happened.
And you actually came out from behind, and of course, $75,000. It is a fair amount, Graham, if you don't think it can run the trip.
No, what an incredible...
It's a race where, look, he won the Tristarc Stakes where the form has really stood up, the winner. So, Casual Pass, look, who knows? He races his own age in the Derby. It may be a slowly run race, and if he can switch off, he might sprint home that sectional again. Look, David Moody's got an interesting decision to make to fork out $75,000. But the Derby's not looking...
Down across the lawn at the front. Sky ratings for the Kunji. It's due in 16. Lord Erin rates ahead of Legible, Sailor Rev and I Do Blue. 13, 6, 9 and 16. On course, wide open betting race, where Mr Lofty and So Assertive are second picks at odds plus. A host of them around the...
Trying for a little bit of history here. There's never been a horse in the history of this race win it in successive years, and the last horse to win 2 Kunjis was way back in 1921-23, a horse called Stair. Lights on, they're racing in the Kanj Handicap, and Mr Lofty in the middle of the line didn't jump well. Irish Crusader, Pinstripe and Crawl were away quickly with So Assertive, I Do Blue. Another Warrior trying to boot up to be prominent. They make a line of about 5 early. Settling into stride now. Let's see, Legible's getting up behind So Assertive. A length further back, Mr Lofty posted deep, and then came another Warrior. Legible about 7th or 8th on the rail. Followed further back in the field at the head of the others. White Mist in the orange, getting through on the inside of Crawl. Spirit of Westbury, I Do Blue wide, and then came Frightening, followed further back then by Storm Edition, Lord Erin, and Sailor Reeve is now last of all. Coming up towards the 600, and Pinstripe leading narrowly from Adolescence. Mr Lofty's been let slide, and he joins the leading group with Badgerswood 4. Right behind them, So Assertive, I Do Blue. Spirit of Westbury starting to run on, and then came another Warrior. Legible's got shuffled back. She's in an awkward place, and she's held up. Mr Lofty leads from Adolescence and Pinstripe as they corner now. So Assertive searching for an out, and so is Irish Crusader. Legible's running into a pocket. She can't get clear. Here comes Frightening right down the outside. Frightening swept up, goes to the lead from Pinstripe. Running on his Crawl on the outside, but it's Frightening clear, and Frightening beats Crawl by a length. Adolescence third, and then So Assertive, Pinstripe, another Warrior, Legible. Didn't get out at all. Next to finish, Sailor Reeve, who came through on the inside, and they were trailed further back. Mr Lofty had a hard trip today. White Mist trailed further back in the field then by Badgerswood. 0.51. Frightening sporting last time out, but there'll be a lot of hard luck stories to come from this race, particularly the run of the favourite Legible. Just another Warrior. Bit of a bunched finish there, and the 2 leaders there, the winner Frightening and Crawl, swept around the outside and kept out of all the trouble really. There were some horses back on the inside there that really had problems getting out. Some of them never got a crack at them. Adolescence, So Assertive, Sailor Rev, Irish Crusader and Legible. They're all still looking for ways out. So, I don't know, Alf, how do you rate the form out of a race where there was so much trouble?
Richard, look, you know, again it gets down to a situation as far as I'm concerned when there's no speed on, you can afford to cover ground. Greg Childs, I've got no doubt, is a past master at it. He was more than happy to cover ground with cover. He came out, finished off strongly while everything's searching for a run. I thought So Assertive was very unlucky and the best performed up.
Alf, to get frightening into the Melbourne Cup, Bart's going to have to run him in the Moonee Valley Cup.
Won't go 2 mile down a well.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much indeed there, Alfie boy. Okay.
Don't know if he's right,
I'm sure Bart would have taken that on board. Right. Okay, now let's move on.
The Caulfield Sprint. Blur from Star of Florida and Super Groove, 13, 2, 16 and 1. Let's check out the full market for you. On course, a host of them vying for favouritism. And it's Into the Night, ahead of Super Groove and Star of Florida second elects, and then we go to Blur as the fourth elect, and then we go to Bomber Bill.
There, you haven't got any problems with the corners like last year?
No, he's a much more mature horse now, and I think that he wasn't in the same... he didn't have the same attitude last time when he was here. I think today, Andrew, he's going to present a better horse, and I think he's learnt a lot, and I think he's going to be much more relaxed about the situation.
Are you?
I am. Yeah, think
Hope it follows through. Good luck to you.
Thanks very much, Andrew.
Hat tough.
The always laconic
from a couple. Racing now, Star of Florida jumped fast with Sir Chuckle's suit. Sir Breakfast was away very fast on the outside, and Ancient Song began running as they settle into stride. Super Groove is not too far away with Blur and Academe. They go to the 800 metres. Star of Florida wide out leading. Sir Breakfast came across with him. Ancient Song on the rails made a line of 3. In fourth placing, Sir Chuckle with Azevedo, River Dove, Empire in the orange colours. Academe's over on the rails with those in company with Blur. Super Groove is just off them now, followed further back by Deprave, and then came the Big Chill, getting up on the inside. Feel the Noise. Into the Night is a long way back with Suit, and Bomber Bill is last as they swing around the corner now, and Sir Breakfast first into the straight. Star of Florida flat as a strap on the inside. Ancient Song with Academe. Blur starting to run on, and then came Feel the Noise getting through on the inside with about 200 to go. Blur moving up to tackle Sir Breakfast, is racing greenly. Bomber Bill rattling through with Ancient Song along the inside, but Blur in front on the outside, and it's Blur. Blur first, winning it by over a length. Maybe Ancient Song holds second. Suitors up there with Into the Night, who rocketed home, and Sir Breakfast. Photo for the minor end, and just behind these to finish then was the Big Chill, followed by Bomber Bill, and then came Feel the Noise, Academe, River Dove, Azevedo, Deprave, Empire, Sir Chuckle, Star of Florida, and Super Groove is last in. Blur maintaining a wonderful first-up record, 6:40 and 2:30. He's won 3 races, no doubt about that, and he's done Colin Little justice with a good win under Stephen King.
The first time he's had a good break. Hasn't raced for 6 or 8 months, and he's probably found the length needed to get to that top level. But he may have some hope.
The last 3 times that horse has run first up, he has won. He's won 3 of his 4 first-up starts. He's a very, very good horse, fresh, Joe, and I like the run of old Bomber Bill behind him, but Blur, trained on the track, too dominant in this one.
An interesting story behind Blur. In January this year, he had a serious eye condition, which almost blinded him in the right eye. A blue film formed over his eye, blurring his vision. But Colin Little's done a great job to get him right.
Oh, Cole sets this horse up for I think he set this horse up first up last year, and in a race at Caulfield on that day. And look, he's just a good little horse, Blur. No trial leading into this race, and he's a good horseman and a good trainer, Colin Little, no doubt about it.
And down the straight also, guys, remember, he was very unlucky in that race with Planchet and also Choisir, where he was the horse that was affected, getting pushed over towards the inside, and there were a few protests in that particular...
Getting home there.
His Irish Galloper, In Time's Eye, In Time Faith, and Sheer Weight of Money sees Irish Galloper, In Time's Eye, In Time's Eye, an ever-shortening favourite for tomorrow's Caulfield Cup. With no knowledge of the lightly raced 5-year-old, it's widely believed punters are simply rallying to trainer Dermot Weld and jockey Damien Oliver.
He's only faced the starter 9 times for 2 wins in a maiden and a listed race. He's raced only once over 2,400 metres and was soundly beaten. And local punters have never seen him. So how is In Time's Eye an overwhelming favourite in our second most famous handicap?
I think it's more about the people than the horse. I think Damien, you know, the Damien factor you can't ignore, and Dermot as well. So I think they've got a hard task, mind you.
The apparent dream team of Dermot Weld and Damien Oliver. The champion hoop putting his faith in the canny Irishman as he searches for his 5th winner in the race.
Even I'm a little bit in the dark with him, how he's going to line up against our horses. My probably concern is whether he's adaptable to get around a track like Caulfield.
Even the bookies concede his favouritism isn't determined on merit.
Predominantly because of weight of money, but I think that stems from the fact that Damien Oliver's on board and deserves the respect of the punters and of the bookies, and because of Dermot. I mean, he knows what it takes to win big races.
For English trainer James Given, who'll saddle up rival Hugs Dancer, the Melbourne Raps on In Time's Eye are a mystery.
But it's slightly surprising for us for finding a horse like that that's favourite for a race the other side of the planet. I would have thought there'd be plenty of Aussie horses that would be worthy of favouritism.
Waitley, 10.
It's starting to jump, I've got no doubt about that, with most trainers going to put the saddle on and also the jockeys starting to wind up.
Northerly is arriving in the mounting yard. Last year's winner, the King of Caulfield. It all began, this amazing story, with a Railway Stakes win, went on to Australian Cups. And there's so many more highlights. There's the betting on the tote. I can tell you that on course it's Mummify, which is the favourite. Let's hear what Katrina Alexander says of her cup hope, On a Babe.
How are the nerves, Katrina? Just a little while from running On a Babe in the Caulfield Cup.
Yeah, very well at the stage. We'll try and get the saddle on straight and we'll see what we like.
Moves, Ken. Yes, the $6 is nearly gone for Mummify. You can just get it in a couple of places, but the $8 is definitely gone for Distinctly Secret. The Kiwi been very, very well back. Hard to get $7.50. Still $9 for In Time's Eye, $10 for Strasbourg, and 11 Pentastic.
Thanks, Ken. So Mummify and Distinctly Secret, probably the best 2 backed horses in the race.
Get him on. OK, let's pick up a bit of the national anthem, then we'll resume commentary for the Caulfield Cup. Ever heard a crowd get so involved in it? Join Greg Miles.
It has drawn a very awkward barrier. The pressure will be on Danny Nikolic in the early stages too. And Strasbourg jumped well. In Time's Eye slow by a length. Rose Archway got away well. So did Platinum Scissors and Hale. In the early stages, Mummify's driving forward for Nikolic, and he's going to lead. Mummify down to the judge, crossed over to the fence in front of Platinum Scissors. Grand Army ain't seen nothing, and In Time's Eye are going up towards the leading horses, and Hugs Dancer shows some pace on the outside of Strasbourg. Hale in behind them, and then came behind these horses Distinctly Secret and Pentastic, trailed by back near the 1,600 metres now, and Mummify the leader. Grand Army is second. In Time's Eye up third outside Platinum Scissors. Hugs Dancer on the outside is a length away fifth, but tracking wide. A length to Ain't Seen Nothing, trailed then by Hale. Strasbourg on the outside, 1.5 Distinctly Secret, and he's being trailed then on the outside by Pentastic in a good position as they go to the 1,200. Next is Rose Archway, 1 to Want a Babe in Vicksburg, about 3 lengths away to Grey Song, and then Sunday Joy, Maccabi Diva, Zagalia, and 2.5 to Oarsman. Last of all, out to the 1,000, Mummify will try and do it all in the Caulfield Cup, a little over a length to Grand Army second. Third is Platinum Scissors on the inside. In Time's Eye, Handy and Hugs Dancer's been working all of the way as they go to the railway side. They're trailed by Hale, Ain't Seen Nothing, a length and a half to Strasbourg by the 800, then Distinctly Secret, Pentastic, On a Babe well back on the inside from Rose Archway, 2 lengths to Vicksburg, Grey Song, and then came Sunday Joy, Maccabi Diva, and Oarsman back amongst the tail enders at the 500, and Mummify the leader. Hugs Dancer second from Platinum Scissors. In Time's Eye under pressure, then Grand Army, Ain't Seen Nothing is running on, followed then as they corner by Hale, and next is Strasbourg. Mummify's going for home in the Caulfield Cup. Nikolic has it out by 3 lengths to Hugs Dancer. Ain't Seen Nothing, Platinum Scissors, then came Distinctly Secret, and further back is On a Babe, but Mummify is well clear at the 150. He's 3 lengths in front of Distinctly Secret, Hugs Dancer, Maccabi Diva, Mummify getting tired, Distinctly Secret, Grey Song fly out right back. Mummify has won the Caulfield Cup. A great all-the-way win from either Grey Song, Distinctly Secret, or Maccabi Diva, who photo finished for the Miners. Just behind these, Zagalia, Ain't Seen Nothing, Hugs Dancer, In Time's Eye, and they were followed by Strasbourg, Vicksburg, and then came Honorbay, Platinum Scissors, Fantastic, Hale, Rose Archway, trailed by Oarsman, Grand Army, failed to stay, and Sunday Joy, one of the last in the Carlton Draft Caulfield Cup.
Ain't seen nothing's come around Grand Army. Strasbourg off the fence when they turn and further back. Fantastic. Nicolette going for home on the leader. Mummified when they turn, and he goes for home. 2 lengths in front now from Hugs Dancer. Ain't seen nothing in Time's Eye struggling. Back on the inside battling on Platinum Scissors. Mummified the leader at the 300-metre mark. He's lengthened. He's 4 lengths in front. On the outside, here's Distinctly Secret with a late run. Distinctly Secret going out after Mummified and Grey Song down the outside with Mackay Diva. No, Mummified will get it. Mummified wins the Caulfield Cup at Plato for second. Distinctly Secret or Grey Song. Segalia behind them with Mackay Diva. Then further back in the race, ain't seen nothing. You've done it, Danny. Further back, Hugs Dancer from In Time's Eye, Strasbourg. Then Vicksburg on a bay. Further back.
He tuned in over the phone and got the coin. I'm just that happy. Hello, Mum. Hello, Dad.
Dan, what about, you went to the lead, and I suppose everybody in the grandstand thinking the favourite going to the lead in the Caulfield Cup, but he settled beautifully for you, answered every challenge, didn't he? When you turned for home, didn't he, Sprint?
He settled good. I deliberately stayed about 2.5 horses off the fence. Thought if someone wants to leave me, they've got to go around me. And I got a really sucky run up along the top of the hill there. I had to go a touch early. It's the first time he's ever led all the way and won. And, you know, he was trained to the minute today. And I just think that he's a type of horse he could train onto a Melbourne Cup because I won't be riding this the same way.
Don't be afraid if you want to go wire to wire. He's fit enough, he's ready to do it. And, yeah, he did it. It's great.
So when he got there cheaply at the winning post the first time, were you happy?
I never seen a horse have a cheaper lead in the Group 1. It was just a joke, yeah.
And he travelled beautifully in the race.
Perfect, perfect.
I said to you before that there were a bit of shades of Paris Lane. When he dashed 4 in front, that's what I thought. That was Paris Lane all over again.
Hello.
Well, you've won a few now. In fact, that's 4.
Yeah.
Anyone sweeter than the other?
Oh, this is really sweet because they're all good mates of mine, and he was a cheap horse, and to do it wire to wire in a Caulfield Cup, I think that's something really special.
And just before you go, what...
Friedman. Yeah, well, that was Plan B. Plan B was if we couldn't get a sit, go all the way, go wire to wire. And funny thing, like Danny and I spent 20 minutes in the car park this morning just discussing this, and I said, don't be afraid to lead, because I know he only won a maiden, but when he won his maiden, he went wire to wire and won by 10. And that's the sort of horse he is, a great stayer.
We normally see you low-key, but when you met the owner...
A team of owners, battlers as they call themselves, that bought a cheap horse, and have a look at this for great scenes of jubilation. How happy are they?
And they gradually get down further, and they go, they start getting down.
They start cascading down through the mounting yard. Absolutely thrilled. They've had a lot of fun. A horse by Jeune. It didn't cost a lot to buy out of an At Talac mare, and they are thrilled.
And it really has put Jeune really on notice as a real serious stallion too, because he's really failed to get something a bit special. This horse has put it all together. He comes through good Melbourne form. He raced in the Classics in Sydney. He went to...
yeah, they're an emotional race.
Yeah,
fair enough.
2.5 kilograms Jim Bowler's given you, 55 for the Melbourne Cup. That's obviously news to you as we speak, but your reaction to that?
Absolutely wrapped. No, seriously, absolutely wrapped. I think when Bowler gives them a big penalty, they've won big, and they always run great in the Cup. So if you're giving him a kilo, I'd have been disappointed. I mean, I'm really wrapped. Penalties win races, I think, you know, and I've got great respect for Jim's opinion of how horses win, and yeah, I'm happy with that.
I can see Brother Anthony standing next to him thinking, you might live to regret those words at some stage in the future, Lee, when Jim gives your horse a massive penalty that you want to blue about. But look, he's right. Horses that get penalised in the Caulfield Cup tend to run great races in the Melbourne Cup. It's just a fact of life because they're going so well. Let's talk about the start. This is where Danny Nikolic won the race. Danny, when they jumped from the gates and you basically had the inside horses covered within a furlong, did you think they'd give the lead up that easily?
No, I was surprised, Richard. I was of the impression that I thought Grand Army would come across pretty positive, and I let Mummify begin very quickly, and I was really surprised how quickly I got over there and how easily I got over with it without using...
Yeah, I noticed you do that, and I noticed that he sort of got the staggers. The last 50 metres he was starting to get tired, but that's the second fastest time in history. Now, That's the mark of a good stay. Do you think he'll stay the trip for the Melbourne Cup, Danny?
Yes, I do, Richard. I think if he's ridden correctly and you know, especially if he draws a favourable barrier in the Melbourne Cup, I'm sure it'll make a big difference because the horse does relax when he gets a bit of cover.
He did split home. He's as fast at last 600 metres as the 1100-metre mares race later, so he really did split home quickly, didn't he?
But he's always run sectionals, this horse, Richard, especially this time in weight for age races on firm going. He can run very good sectionals. That's why I was so confident when I got to the 700. That, you know, take a good horse to beat him with 53 kilos on his back yesterday.
And going to 2 Mile, Danny, that run will obviously improve him somewhat.
Yeah, for sure. The horse still looks showy, Alf. I know he's a gross-looking horse now. As he's got a bit older, he's become, you know, he's a lot more to look at. He's gone from a kid last time into, you know, a man now, and he's...
Its run was a ripper too.
You drew an awkward gate today. Well, we always plan to ride in quiet. There's no other way to ride this horse. A lightweight, he had a pretty good run through. It was a perfect run from a Melbourne Cup point of view. And, I mean, today, firm ground, cut out of the ground, he would have been better.
Sort of settled midfield, which was good. We came out, I seen Dean up in front, needed him to stop for my horse to grab him on the line, but, you know, it was a good effort.
Yeah, she lined up. I thought she was going to be a chance coming into the straight, and she was just found wanting probably the last 150 metres, missing that run, so it was a great effort.
I needed to follow something from the half mile that would take me into the race, but nothing was going forward, and I was off the bit, but I still needed to travel with something to get going, and I cut the corner and saved a lot of ground. She hit the line well and just kept going, and she's definitely a very strong lightweight chance in a Melbourne Cup. No risk she is.
We got in with a shout with 400-500 to run, and then they've just outpaced me down the straight. But he's kept on, and we've ended up getting beaten 3 lengths, which is as much as we could expect.
I had a beautiful run. He followed the winner into the straight, and when he went, I just couldn't go with him. I was a bit flat-footed, and they all raced around me. He was pretty slow at that time of the race, and then about a furlong after, about halfway up the straight, he got going a bit again, but he was just a bit too one-paced.
He had a lovely run behind Mummified, sitting 3rd, 4th defence. Coming to 600, I was travelling as well as the winner, but as we got into the straight, he just failed to find it a lot.
Jim, the run of Grand Army?
Yeah, I never stayed the trip, mate. Going for a spell.
Jimmy Cassidy, very much to the point.
Those horses' performance, the Europeans, were very solid indeed. I also liked the run. I thought it was a very good ride, Distinctly Secret. It had every chance as far as I was concerned. Wasn't good enough on the day. And Mackay Diva, well, Glenn Boss followed instructions. He was informed pre-race not to be the widest runner on the corner. He saved ground, and it did finish off quite nicely, as well as the obvious Grey Song and Zagalia. I thought was very strong on the line.
Yeah. Ron, Hugs Dancer?
Look, Hugs Dancer's run was enormous. He did a lot of work in the run. He's a horse I can see leading in a Melbourne Cup. He looks a real grinder. He tried to put him on the speed there. It was just the tempo was too fast for him. And in a 2-mile race, I can see that horse racing very, very well. I like the run of Zagalia. I like the run of Maccabee Diva. She's really on target, that mare. The question's got to be asked. Are they going to elevate this horse into the field? He's not qualified in Time's Eye. Punters want to know. I don't think he did enough to be, advanced into the field.
They won't promote him. I'll back that in all day. They will not promote that horse into the field. Why should they?
Well, they should get an answer.
They're not going to run him in anything before?
Well, they're not going. It's dead right, Joe. They're not going to run him. They're going to take the punt on whether he makes the field out of pure pot luck. If
well,
not enough qualifiers.
The VRC should be telling him you've got to run this horse in a qualifying race, otherwise you can ship up.
Well, they can't
pack up and go home.
If they don't get a full.
As I mentioned earlier, it was only just tightened up over the concluding stages. You're right. It either runs again or it goes home.
Oh, OK. Well, there you go. Interesting to see what happens over the next week or so, won't it? Danny?
Of Vocabulary. And from there, Infinite Grace. Lovely Jubbly from Vocabulary. And then we go 4 and Floozy and Infinite Grace. 1, 3, 4 and 16.
And not to...
This Tristarc Stakes, Group 3 race for the mares. And shortly they'll move into line. Lovely Jubbly is the on-course well-tried favourite ahead of Vocabulary. Similar odds to what they're betting on course, slightly shorter on the tote. And Vocabulary at $6. Tomorrow morning on Racing Retro, we'll be joined by Hello as we join Greg Miles.
Purple colours goes into the stalls now. and Faith Hill flew the stalls also with Infinite Grace, and Lovely Jubbly is pressing forward along the inside as they settle into stride, and Vocabulary is driving towards the front. He's working pretty hard on it, Nicolik, and she's caught wide. Vocabulary, she can't cross. Came Sabino Canyon, and well back in the field up the side of the course was Tarcoola Diamond, and she was being followed by La Rocha, and then came Alice in Toyland and Kalashani Star. Lovely Jubbly shot 2 lengths in front, coming around the turn to Bellavici. Lucky Punch. Gazania looks a threat on the inside as they cornered. Vocabulary's been working very hard out wide, and then Infinite Grace followed by La News and Rory's Jane. Lovely Jubbly leads around the turn. Gazania through on the inside. Vocabulary is still finding something wide, and Infinite Grace is right down the outside, followed by Rory's Jane, who's coming with a run. Infinite Grace takes the lead from Vocabulary, Rory's Jane, and then Gazania. Infinite Grace is streaking away the last bit, and Infinite Grace wins it by 2 lengths to 4, and Floozy flies for second. Faith Hill a half hit away third, and then Lucida Tarcoola Diamond. Vocabulary not too far away after a torrid run, and then Gazania didn't finish a race off, followed by Sabino Canyon, Lovely Jubbly. Behind these, Lucky Peter down, and the crowd loved him a little while ago. Race 9, 17 is out. The race at 4:55.
Okay, great.
Suited better. There are a lot of unlucky runners in that race as well, taking nothing away from the winner, Infinite Grace there. But if you looked at the runs of Forum Floozy, Faith Hill, Vocabulary, and you can forget the run of La News. It had no luck in the straight at all. It was nearly knocked over. You'll see it on the fence there in the blue. It got absolutely poleaxed. Is that your La News?
No, I think that's a horse called Sabino Canyon.
Was it Sabino Canyon? Was it? I thought
tell
it
you
was
what,
News.
it might have been right in the finish, Sabino Canyon there. I don't know whether she'll qualify for that mare's race. Hope not.
No, it had no luck, got nearly poleaxed. But you will see a lot of interference in this race, Alf. And once again, the winner swept around him and stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, that's right. But Greg drew much better today. I forgave it for its last start failure, and I thought it got into this race well. This is a top-class mare, in my opinion. I really did like the run of Ronnie's horse, Forum Floozy. It was good. Faith Hill, I tell you what, it only needs genuine speed on. It got pushed back in the early stage.
Yeah, a nice little Group 3 somewhere. We'll back it over the carnival, I think.
But you're eyeing off that big race at Flemington, aren't you?
It's been the plan all along, and I think it's coming right at the right at the time.
You're on track.
Yeah, very much on track.
Mile Flemington dry track, very, very hard to beat.
Ron's starting to talk out the corner of his mouth there. He's very keen about that. Yeah.
And I think Ronnie Quinton's pretty happy too with his horse, Faith Hill.
Yeah, I'd love to see Ronnie.
On the outside of Chuckle, and beaten for speed, of course, is Shogun Lodge. What a duel for the lead coming to the 600. Majestic Fiesta's trapped in no man's land, joined by Fair Embrace. Sticks and Stones is there. Lucky Night, the Little Tacker, and Centre Fire. What a go. Not far away, Marchioness, Poetic Papal. Good margin. Chuckle and Shogun Lodge is last. Around the corner they travel now, and Majestic Fiesta's on the extreme outside. It shows the way narrowly, maybe from Centre Fire, the Little Tacker, Lucky Night, Fair Embrace and Marchioness. Poetic Papal's close enough to the fence from Sticks and Stones. Shogun Lodge warming up. Majestic Fiesta grabbed by Lucky Night, Marchioness, and then comes the Little Tacker. Lucky Night in front. Here's Shogun Lodge rattling home. Shogun Lodge is overpowering them. Oh, magnificent return by Shogun. Shogun Lodge from Marchioness. The Little Tacker. Not far away was Chuckle with Poetic Papal. This old horse he is. Shogun Lodge, and he has now added $48,750 to his prior tally of $4,573,564. What a marvellous, marvellous horse. Bobby Thompson bringing him back following the failure in the Doomben Cup on the 24th of May. He was scratched from the race the other day, the shorts. The track wasn't suitable. He's a firm track horse. And down in Melbourne, of course, today. And he'll be, because he's got Thorne Park in the next in Melbourne at 5 to 5. And Billy Davenport, Bobby's right hand.
Right, from Sportsman and Reactive, 11 and 14 from 4 and number 10. Now, on course, I can tell you that Lord Volksgrad is the fancy ahead of Mr. Magoo, Scenic Peak. Sportsman's a double figure odds on course. Thorne Park is the horse which is second favourite. Race due to go in 17 from now. A break.
Sportsman coming along. And a great race without luck in the Epsom Handicap. Mr. Magoo about to come along here for Noel Kellogg, coming up into the line. Suit is ready. Sure, Bob Thompson would have had his eyes glued to the TV sets a little while ago. Wonderful return from the old stage of Shogun Lodge. And Reactive jumping swiftly on the inside. Lord Volksride, if anything, just a little slow. Regal Rollers going for the lead. Mr. Magoo began fast and races up into second. Reactive getting a good trail third on the inside. Sports goes forward and Super together. Regal Roller the leader, Suit is second. Mr. Magoo 2 lengths away third, and Reactive fourth on the inside. Followed a length then to Sportsman, who's racing deep. Lord Volksride and the Lime Colours getting up on the inside, and Marbine is next around the outside. Runs to win in the centre, and they were followed by St Basil. Thorn Park buried away on the rail as they corner, and then Scenic pulled out wide as they corner. Next is Salgado, No Deposit, and one more round. Regal Roller said ta-da around the turn. He shot 3 lengths in front. Shades of last week. Coming after him though is Thorn Park now. Thorn Park is starting to reel in Regal Roller. Thorn Park has taken the lead. He's bolted 2 or 3 lengths in front of Regal Roller, then Reactive on the outside, but Thorn Park absolutely trotted in. Thorn Park beats Lord Volksride getting up for second. Regal Roller, Salgado, Reactive photo finish for third, and they were trailed by Marbine. One more round out wide, and then Zoometric trailed further back by Yoruba, and back behind those then Runs to Win and Scenic Peak, Sportsman, Mr. Magoo, and St Basil towards the end with No Deposit, and one more Old Suit last in. Thorn Park, number 2, that's been a brilliant run. He's come from
well, how about that? A double in Sydney. Shogun Lodge, first win for quite some time, and Andrew Bensley, his other up-and-coming star to the fore.
Yeah, he's had a very good day. 2 in Sydney, and now this one. Probably doesn't match Shogun Lodge about 15 minutes ago.
No, I don't think so. No, he's a great horse show. It's great to see Shogun win.
What about that, though? There's been a few doubters coming back in to Melbourne after the autumn. You were pretty comfortable going in today, I thought.
Just makes the price better.
Ran good time?
Very good time.
Do you have something on, by the way, at the price?
I don't bet.
What's the plans here? You've got to Caulfield, you've won. What are your options?
My options are pretty well set in concrete. I'd like to run him down the straight 6, that means the Salinger, in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
And then it looked, but all honest to the winner, he was way too good for him, Ronnie.
Oh, look, he's a class act, and I'm really, really happy to hear Bobby say I'm going for the Salinger. He's an explosive horse, destroyed his rivals yesterday. Look, a horse that finished well back here, I'm going to keep an eye on, a thing called Zoometric in the right race.
Actually, I think the race was set up for Thorn Park. He got the right run. If you notice, just before the corner, Kieran McAvoy was on Lord Volksride. He actually come off the fence, which presented the run to Thorn Park. Look, I don't think it would have changed the result, but I guarantee you Lord Volksride would have finished a length and a half closer. Terrific. The horse looked great in the mounting enclosure yesterday, Thorn Park, and aided by good speed, which suits him.
Bob Thompson said this morning, straight onto the Salinger, the horse has come through in perfect shape.
Yeah,